Yo, 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 what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right. So shout out to everybody who is in the building early. It is good to see each and every one of you. If you can hear me okay and things look and sound good on the screen, please give me a thumbs up or radiation emoji in the chat. If you cannot hear me or things look and sound bad, please give me a thumbs down or an angry face. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to shout out everybody in the building early. All right. Shout out to Cameron and shout out to Tedra and shout out to anybody else who is here who has not said anything yet. All right. So before we get into it, I don't know what's going on with StreamYards. There's some type of issue. They had like some type of system message, right? And the system message said that you're not able to use some of your add-ons, and that's true. So that's why we got like the weird colors, and I don't know if the screen looks weird on your end, but it might. I don't have any of my drops available. So if people do send some super chats or send some donations or whatever, I'm not going to be able to use drops. All right. So I apologize for that in advance, despite the fact that it's StreamYard's fault and not mine. Right. And I just want people to pay attention, man. You know what I'm saying? Like your boy, drops off the best migrant crisis news on YouTube. And if people are wondering why I made the comments that I made yesterday when TD popped up and pulled up on the stream, this is exactly why. This is exactly why you spend money on software, you spend money and time on creating wallpaper and creating thumbnails and doing all that stuff, and you do all this stuff and people don't even have the decency to show up to your videos, and they lie and they say that they don't get notifications, but they get notifications for every other content creator. And I don't like people feeding me a bunch of BS. So I don't accept the BS that people feed me. People get notifications, and people have all the time in the world to watch whatever that they want to watch. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a reflection of any YouTube channel is a reflection of the engagement. So I said all of that stuff. I stand behind all that stuff. I'll say it again. I don't care if it's only 0 people in the chat. I don't care. People have been shielding people and covering people from critique and telling people what they want to hear and making people feel good when they shouldn't for a very long time. And I'm not about that life. I'm about giving it to people raw. So, and when I say giving it to people raw, I mean actually giving it to people raw, not just telling people what they want to hear raw. So that's what it is. So what people got to understand is that if people don't appreciate what people have provided for them, if other people find value in what someone is trying to do for other people, don't look at people crazy when other people start accepting revenue and currency and payment elsewhere. We're not gonna act like we don't understand how that works. You're gonna understand how that works, and there's gonna be a constant reminder of how that works. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. There's nothing else to it. It just is what it is. And people need to just be honest and stop lying about stuff. People ain't really interested in this stuff. They're only interested in hearing it from people who they have some type of weird fascination with or some weird type of association with. They don't really care about the integrity of the information. They don't care about the quality of the content. They don't care about anything. But when there are people that do care about the quality of the content and the integrity of the information, you don't get to sit there and act like you've been backstabbed. when you've been stabbing someone else the entire time, and that person has been bleeding time and resources trying to provide something of value for other people. You don't get to sit there and whine about that. And you definitely don't get to sit there and whine about that in regards to me if I'm ever in that situation, because I'm going to remind people exactly what time it is and throw a mirror in their face until they can't take it anymore. You know what I'm saying? So as far as the title goes, the mainstream media, the news, is now running with this narrative that Trump is going to be out here, quote unquote, deporting American citizens. Now, let me ask you guys this. How many American citizens have been deported? So the mainstream media is creating this hysteria, or at least trying to create this hysteria. I don't think anybody's buying it. Some people are buying it. Not all people. Some people are buying it. That the Trump administration is going to somehow, quote unquote, deport American citizens. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, facts. Shout out to Cameron. 0. Yeah, America hasn't deported any American citizens. Name me an American citizen that's been deported. Shout out to Tedra. Tedra said, "I hate that some people follow other people instead of following the message." Yeah, I mean and you know that's what they do. It is what it is. And the thing is that it's nothing wrong with it, right? It is something wrong with it, but when things fail, people then tend to act confused instead of being like, you know what, this wasn't really the best way to go about doing things. People get to dodge bullets all the time. You can't dodge bullets in real life. You know what I'm saying? Shouldn't be able to dodge them online. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Cameron. Cameron said black people are next. How many people have been hearing this quote unquote black people are next narrative? And again, anytime something wild happens, how many people are tired of just as soon as something wild happens, it always turns into quote unquote black people are next, or you know what I mean? Like, uh, why is the assumption of weakness always taken in these situations? I mean, this is to me, it's just ridiculous. The first thing that happens, how come when listen, how many people were aware? Last year, 1,000 millionaires were made every day. Now, people that watch my financial content are very familiar with this, right? But people who don't watch my financial content are not familiar with this because the people that you all watch don't talk about this kind of stuff. 1,000 millionaires were made every single day in 2024. How come no one ever asked the question, well, black people are next when it comes to becoming millionaires and 1,000 millionaires being printed every day? People tend to only mention or say negative things about black people being next. And it's odd because a lot of times the people that say these things are black people themselves. So my question is there a problem with a large majority of people being able to see themselves in a position of prosperity? Is the only way that people see themselves is in a position of being solemn and just being a meek little peasant? I mean, if that's the case, right? Well, then the world is correct then, like it always has been. Shout out to my man Law. What's good with it, bro? If that's the case, then the world is correct. Because if you can't see yourself and visualize yourself in a position that you want to be in, the only position that you can see yourself in or visualize yourself in is a position where something's constantly happening to you or you're not controlling your circumstance. In many cases, that's what's going to materialize. And I don't sugarcoat that. And a lot of people require that to be sugarcoated for them in order to be able to digest any type of content. I mean, if you got to have that type of thing sugarcoated for you to be able to digest content, it's clear that you can't digest reality. It's clear that you can't digest life. And in that intolerance, in that quote unquote indigestion, right? It creates a very accurate explanation of why many situations are the way they are. All right, i.e., the world being correct. Okay, so we're gonna take a listen to what some of these people are saying in regards to this quote unquote idea of Trump, quote unquote, deporting everybody, American citizens as well. All right. And again, my question for everybody is why is the question of Americans being deported even coming up? Why is that even a question? Who put that question out there, and who continues to make that question a relevant thing in people's daily conversations? I mean, why did that even come up? Well, that you can get deported too. I mean, what? It's just ridiculous. So irritating. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody watching. If you guys haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Don't be one of those people that me and TD was talking about yesterday. Hit that bell. Make sure you guys share the stream to your social media. Let's get it.
Of course, we're celebrating the 4th of July today, but this year celebrations will look different from years past for some families. In the Los Angeles area, many local celebrations have been canceled due to fears of ICE raids, especially in predominantly Hispanic communities.
Now, let me ask you guys this question. When is the last time the Democrats have tried to quote unquote cancel anything, right? When is the last time they've tried to cancel anything because of quote unquote police violence or quote unquote police brutality? New York Times is reporting they planned parties and salsa music for the 4th. ICE raids made them think twice. Let me ask you guys a question. Who's doing what illegally? Is ICE illegally detaining these people? Or are these people illegally in the United States? Which one is the situation? Let me know in the chat. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Shout out to Win, Lose, or Rug. Good to see both of you guys. Make sure that you guys show Brooklyn Queen some love for always enforcing the likes. And shout out to Cameron for enforcing likes too. Make sure you guys show Cameron some love for enforcing the likes as well.
This is happening as a new memo from the Department of Justice is gaining attention. In it, the White House directs federal attorneys to focus their efforts on denaturalization cases and revoking citizenship from naturalized citizens who have committed certain crimes. By the way, denaturalization cases are nothing new. Both President Obama and President Trump during his first term expanded the use of denaturalization, using it to target immigrants who lied about their involvement in criminal groups on their immigration applications.
So now here's my question. Why was it acceptable when Obama did it, but it's not acceptable when Trump did it? How many people were aware that President Obama was MAGA? If you guys were aware that President Obama was MAGA, then give me a thumbs up. If you were not aware that President Obama was MAGA, then give me a thumbs down. President Obama being MAGA really kind of causes some cantankerous contradictions for the narratives of many people. You know what I'm saying? Really causes some cantankerous contradictions for many people. Shout out to my man AB. I appreciate you, bro. At least one of y'all want to make me great. Now, shout out to everybody. Y'all be making me great. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all. Shout out to my man AB. Make sure y'all show AB some love. Throw some play. Oh, you know what? I can't even do the drops. That's right. I can't even do the drops. I can't even do the drops because the StreamYards is being weird. So, you know, make sure you guys keep track of who supports the channel today, and you know, y'all get some double drops when StreamYard gets fixed. Yeah, I was about to actually go do that. I was about to try to throw a drop in there. Then I was like, that's right. We ain't even able to use the drops today. StreamYard got some weird stuff going on. Yeah, shout out to Win, Lose, or Rug. Obama was doing the same thing. Shout out to my man David Brown. What's good with you, bro? Obama was doing the same thing with the immigration situation. He was denaturalizing people for the same reason that Trump is denaturalizing people. Now, my question for everybody is, why is it not okay when Trump does it, but it is okay when Obama does it? Both of these presidents are children of immigrants. Yeah, shout out to AB. AB said, damn, no drops, unsubscribe.
On denaturalization cases and revoking citizenship from naturalized citizens who have committed certain crimes. By the way, denaturalization cases are nothing new. Both President Obama and President Trump during his first term expanded the use of denaturalization, using it to target immigrants who lied about their involvement in criminal groups on their immigration applications. However, The threshold to pursue denaturalization is extremely high. In 2017, under the first Trump administration, the DOJ filed just 30 denaturalization cases, according to the Miami Herald. So what does this new memo mean for the millions of naturalized citizens living in the United States? Joining us now is immigration attorney Kathleen Martinez. Kathleen, good to see you.
Good morning.
So first of all, there are 25 million naturalized citizens living in the U.S. right now, as you know. Should they be concerned about what this new DOJ memo is calling for?
Now, again, I want you guys to pay very close attention, right? And again, this guy is doing the Democrat jig. He's doing the Democrat jig. Let me ask you guys this. We must establish this. Are Democrats pro-crime culture? If they are, give me a thumbs up. If they're not, give me a thumbs down. You guys recall when they first explained this in the beginning of the video, they said that Trump is going to prioritize denaturalization of certain individuals who have committed particular crimes. If you guys recall them saying that, give me a thumbs up. If you don't recall them saying that, give me a thumbs down. Now, after they've made that statement, they asked the question, well, should these people be concerned? It seems to me that only one, class of naturalized citizens should be concerned with this, and that is unnaturalized citizens, and that's naturalized citizens who have committed particular crimes, because those are the ones who are going to be targeted. So if we know this, why then is the news asking Cameron Diaz here, should everybody be concerned about it? Does that make any sense? If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. If it doesn't make any sense, then give me a thumbs down.
Most naturalized citizens should not be concerned about this at all. Like you said, this is not new. Multiple administrations have practiced.
There you go. I mean, she just, I don't know what this is supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? Literally, she just said the same thing. Most naturalized citizens should not be concerned with this at all. So again, why then, right? Why then title the video what a new DOJ could mean for naturalized U.S. citizens? It means something for naturalized U.S. citizens who are criminals, and they know this. So why put it out there like that? Shout out to AB. AB says it goes to show you that Trump and people like him are delusional about their ancestry, sociopathic in all their dealings. Yeah, if you guys agree with AB, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Don't let TD hear you say that. Don't let TD hear you say that. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get you. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Make sure you show Brooklyn Queen some love. Brooklyn Queen said, I got you. Everybody repeat after me. Ancient spirits of evil, transform this decayed form to Mumra, the ever living. Right? We gotta do the low budget. We gotta do the low budget drops today. You know what I'm saying? Because the drops ain't working because it's StreamYards. It ain't me. It's StreamYards. You know what I'm saying? As long as everybody know. Shout out to Jesse. What's good with it, bro? Shout out to Chanel. What's good with it, Chanel? Chanel says the media was quiet on Obama enforcing immigration laws. Facts. Now they want to talk about it. Right? Now they want to talk about it in comparison to Trump. So let's see what they got to say.
New DOJ memo is calling for.
Most naturalized citizens should not be concerned about this at all. Like you said, this is not new. Multiple administrations have practiced the policy of denaturalization, and most people are not eligible.
So, Kathleen, at this point, you're saying that if people aren't concerned, it also has to do with how complicated this all is. Can you talk us through the process of what this actually means? How does this work?
Sure. So in order to be, subject to litigation for denaturalization, you have to either be a convicted war criminal or you have to have obtained your citizenship through fraud. And it's very, very difficult to put someone in this situation. The Trump administration managed to only denaturalize about 100 people last time. And Biden did about 24 cases because it's so difficult. There's a process to obtaining green cards and then citizenship that typically weed these people out. It's so difficult to obtain it originally that to be able to take it away from you once you've actually naturalized is very rare.
So
now again, here's my question. Outside of this, right? Outside of this particular method, my question is, what is the method beyond this that Trump is going to use to quote unquote denaturalize American citizens? Everybody keeps running this narrative. Trump is going to denaturalize people. He's going to deport citizens. Okay, we know about this one, right? What is he going to do with everybody else? So then again, we got to ask the question, why do people keep saying, Trump going to deport you? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Shout out to AB. AB says, I'm an old Mac from way back. One of the original players from the Himalayas. Shout out to AB. I appreciate you, bro. Make sure y'all show AB some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emojis, some ducks in the chat for AB for funding the organization.
Certain groups of immigrants who would be more likely to be subject for denaturalization under this memo. And I'm sort of just thinking about the resources that are required to do something like this to the scale that the president seems to be indicating he wants done. I mean, is the standard applied, for example, to people of Russian descent who have been involved in criminal proceedings the same way that it might for somebody who's from Guatemala originally?
Wow, like, can I ask you guys this question? This is a YouTube question. This is I want you. This news anchor right here just publicly asked YouTube comment section level stupidity. Laws are applied to laws equally. The laws are concerning how someone became a citizen and crimes that they might have committed, not based on their entry of the United States. People from different places entered through the United States with different programs and different processes. That's not what's in question. What's in question is, did you commit a crime? Are you a naturalized citizen? Does your crime fall into the category of those crimes that are being targeted for denaturalization? It doesn't have anything to do with where you're from. But he asked the question, well, are we going to compare Russians to Guatemalans? Like, he has a job where he wears a suit and tie every day. And on his job where he wears a suit and tie every day, the best he could produce for CBS is a YouTube comment section 15 IQ level question. I want you guys to make sure that you're aware of that.
I mean, on paper, but in reality, we're all seeing who he's, I guess, the Trump administration is targeting right now, and who I fear are people who are pro-Palestinian or have voiced their advocacy and publicly. We see what he did with student visas. I feel like those are the people who he is going to target in this administration.
Kathleen, obviously big news coming out of the Big Beautiful Bill, the so-called Big Beautiful Bill, which allocates tens of billions of dollars to building more detention facilities and also boosting the capabilities of ICE and its officers. How do you expect this surge in funding will really impact the work that you and other immigration attorneys are doing right now?
Sure. So I'm
going to tell you exactly how it's going to affect immigration attorneys. Immigration attorneys can act like they are not happy with this as much as they want to. But let me ask you guys this question. If more immigrants are being detained, if more families are having issues with their family members being deported, doesn't that put a higher demand on immigration attorneys? And if there's a high demand on immigration attorneys, doesn't that increase their value? And doesn't that increase their ability to be able to charge more money for their services? If it does, give me a thumbs up. If it doesn't, give me a thumbs down. So by Trump doing this, putting the pressure on people, this is going to create an astronomical increase in demand for representation by an immigration attorney like her, which is going to ultimately give her flexibility on the cap of the amount of money that she's able to charge, which means that she's going to be able to, over the next, 4 years while Trump is in office, right? She's going to be able to maximize her income. She's not going to have to do OnlyFans. You know what I'm saying? She's going to be able to, do her job.
The Biden administration, I was doing a lot of affirmative actions, or applications, like applying for a green card, naturalization. I wasn't doing as much removal defense work, and now I'm doing a lot of removal defense as well as bond. So ICE has a quota; they have to arrest her up to.
See. So she tried to throw that in there, very quickly. She tried to throw that in there very quickly, so you miss it. Like, I'm balling out. I can't get rid of the work. It's coming so quick, right?
The work that you and other immigration attorneys are doing right now.
Sure. So under the Biden administration, I was doing a lot of affirmative actions, or applications like applying for a green card, naturalization. I wasn't doing as much removal defense work, and now I'm doing a lot of removal defense as well as bond. So ICE has a quota; they have to arrest up to 3,000 immigrants a day, and unfortunately, a lot of people are not deportable who they're arresting. They're making massive mistakes, and they're not screening these immigrants properly. So immigration attorneys like myself are having to get people out on bond or released in general for being wrongfully detained who are not even deportable.
So who are these people? Where are their stories at on the local news? Let me ask you guys this question. Who are these people that ICE has taken into custody that aren't deportable, that have had to spend all this money on immigration attorneys? And if you're an American citizen and ICE deports you, my question is, why would you spend the money on an immigration attorney? Does that make any sense? And shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all have not smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell, and also please share the stream to your social media.
The other thing that I find really fascinating on this Independence Day, it's ironic that there are some people who get angry when folks like yourself try to give advice to people on how to protect themselves in situations like this. And the advice that you give is in using the legal due process that is afforded to everyone in this country. So what steps?
Let me ask you guys this question. Who's gotten upset with anybody advising anyone to use the legal pathway, to use the legal pathway? Who's gotten upset about that? Shut up talking about using that legal pathway. When have you ever seen the legal pathway outrage? I don't think I've ever seen legal pathway outrage. And shout out to you guys. We on the 1-to-1 ratio. We got 13 and 13, 13 likes, 13 live viewers. That's what's up. Throw some 13s in the chat. That's what's good. Appreciate y'all.
Would you take to advise people to protect themselves proactively as this bill goes into effect?
It really depends on your immigration history, whether you are subject to ICE jurisdiction or whether you're actually deportable, because surprisingly enough, not all 11 million undocumented immigrants in the United States are actually subject to deportation. Just because you're undocumented does not mean that you are a criminal, and it does not mean that you are deportable. So
if you're undocumented, it absolutely means that you're a criminal, because for one, it's criminal to not have documentation of being a legal resident person present in the United States. That in itself is illegal. That in itself is a criminal act. So again, it's interesting. It's like in Monopoly, how they say do not pass go. In this situation, we're always passing go. Right? Shout out to AB Promotions. AB Promotions said cash rules everything around us. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. Everything is based on a taxable dollar. Facts. Shout out to the 13. Shout out to the 13. That's what's good.
Oh, if you are in one of those vulnerable situations where you actually are deportable or subject to ICE jurisdiction, it's very important that you know your rights. That if you have some kind of temporary protected status, you'd like DACA, TPS, asylee status, keep proof of it. Keep your documents on you at all times. You might be wrongfully detained, but it doesn't mean you'll be deported. So if you are detained, you need to reserve your right to remain silent, and you also need to be able to call your attorney and refuse to answer any questions without an attorney. If you are detained, you need to request a hearing in front of a judge. If you cannot afford an attorney, you can ask the judge for a list of pro bono attorneys so you can call them immediately.
All right, Kathleen Martinez, thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Now, this Kathleen Martinez chick, I don't think that she gave the effect that they were looking for in regards to the message that they're trying to get across. Shout out to AB. AB said, "What's wrong with her lips?" She got Botox money. Shout out to DeAndre. Botox money. Immediately when you start making money, you just pump the money right into your lips. So she got that. That's the listen. Botox, on a lot of women is the sign of being a baller. You know what I'm saying? Their hands be wrinkled. They have a nice manicure though, but the rest of the hand is wrinkled, and the lips are always inflated, and the face is really smooth. A lot of the baller women be having some nice skin. That's because they get those micro exfoliations and stuff like that with the paychecks. You know what I'm saying? But the hands never lie. the hands will tell you somebody got a 20-year-old face and some 80-year-old hands. You know what I'm saying?
President Trump's en route to Florida to attend the opening of Alligator Alcatraz.
Alcatraz. Yeah. It's the idea that it's all deliberate. They just get
Now, shout out to my man TD, right? Shout out to TD. Make sure y'all show TD some love, right? This is the video that we were watching yesterday before we were so rudely interrupted, right? Before we were so rudely interrupted, this is the video we was watching yesterday.
Right now, President Trump's en route to Florida to attend the opening of Alligator Alcatraz.
Alcatraz. Yeah. It's the idea that it's all deliberate. They just get eaten by an alligator or a snake or something. I guess that's the concept. This is not a nice business. I guess that's the concept. If you know, snakes are fast, but alligators, we're going to teach them how to run away from an alligator.
And you see, Trump is not rocking a MAGA hat, right? He's not rocking a MAGA hat. He's rocking a vintage. He's rocking a vintage broken brim New Era Gulf of America hat. Okay. Diversifying. You see, they diversifying the business. We got more than just MAGA for you. We got Gulf of America hats. He needs to make the white people matter too hats. Now, you know, Candace Owens and Kanye West, they won't be able to keep that off of their head, right? They won't be able to keep that off of their head. But the Trump media, white people matter too hat, I got the feeling that that'll be a bestseller. I got the feeling that that'll be a bestseller. Trump should also make a hat. This one will be specifically designed for white people. And it'll say on it, I'm N-word rich. Now, that's the difference between, you know, saying I'm N-word rich and the other connotation, because what that means is that if you got $100,000 car and you got 100,000 cents worth of gas in it, right? You know, the Good Timers. The Big Timers made a song, you know what I'm saying, based on that trope called Hood Rich, right? You guys remember that song when Cash Money came out with that? Now, the quote-unquote I'm N-word rich, right? It had that Shiloh chick on it, you know what I'm saying? Because her and Joe Rogan and people like that, they're N-word rich. These are people that are rich, you know what I'm saying, because they say the N-word. You know what I'm saying? I guess a lot of hip-hop artists will fall into that category too. So you can kind of diversify what memes that you put on the hat. You can make a version of I'm N-word rich for the black Trump supporter as well. We can get one of those for TD. He wouldn't. I got a feeling he wouldn't wear it on the streams though. You know what I'm saying? Ask him if he'll wear it on the streams next time he go live.
Okay, if they escape prison, how to run away. Don't run in a straight line. Run like this. And you know what? Your chances go up about 1%. Okay, not a good thing.
Well, that's tough stuff. Joining us now is Border Czar Tom Homan. Tom, let me digress for a second. Yesterday on this program, Florida Congressman Carlos Jimenez said he wants you.
Hey, now we were talking. Shout out to TD. We were talking about this yesterday. Tom Homan's facial expression always looks like he just walked in the bathroom behind somebody that blew it up. The initial face, you know what I'm saying, that you make when you realize you're in the midst of a disgusting odor. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Tom Homan looks like where he is, he's always smelling something that smells horrible. You know what I'm saying?
To focus on criminal migrants. He says South Florida needs the others, that is, non-violent criminal migrants, to stay and work. What do you say to that?
Well,
hey,
right. Congress and fix immigration.
Hey, Trump got them ADHD dad jokes. They be so like in left field. They be like even more hilarious than they actually are. You know what I'm saying?
The system. I mean, that's his responsibility. ICE is enforcing laws enacted by Congress. They're not making this up. I mean, it's violation of federal law to enter this country illegally. It's illegal. You know, to be here illegally is not okay. It's in violation of law, and ICE is simply out there arresting those who are in the country illegally. But let's get back to from day one, we've been concentrating on public safety threats and national security threats. That's what we're focusing on. But in the process of doing that, if we find somebody illegally in the United States that's not a criminal threat, well, they're going to be arrested and put in front of an immigration judge. That's what federal law requires. ICE isn't making this up. They're enforcing the law.
So you could go on a work raid, for example, an employment raid, and pick up people outside of Home Depot, take them away immediately, put them in the Alcatraz Everglades or whatever it's called, and that's okay? I think there might be a political backlash to that.
No, we are concentrating on public safety threats and not security threats. But then again, like I said, when we're out looking for the
Hey, Fox got themselves a Timu Pierce Morgan. They got themselves a Timu Pierce Morgan. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. If you guys would agree, Fox got themselves a Timu Pierce Morgan. Give me a thumbs up. If you disagree, give me a thumbs down. Yeah, they got themselves a Timu Pierce Morgan. Okay.
criminals many times we find collaterals that that are arrested because they're in sanctuary jurisdictions. Most of the collaterals arrested in sanctuary jurisdictions, Stuart, because we're forced into the neighborhood. They don't give us access to bad guy in the county jail. But I've said from day one, if you're in the country legally, you're not off the table. I mean, it's not okay to enter this country legally. It's a crime. It's not okay to knowingly hire an illegal alien, because no one hires an illegal alien on the goodness of their heart. They hire them because they work them harder, pay them less, and undercut their competition who has U.S. citizen employees, and it drives down labor rates.
Now, that's interesting, right? What Tom Homan is saying. Here's my question for you guys. That little part that Tom Homan just said right there, is that true or is that false? The reason why I'm asking the question about is this true or is this false is because I don't know if people have been paying attention. Again, I talk about this on my in the financial content all the time. There are massive amounts of businesses closing down in the United States. There are massive amounts of layoffs taking place. There's a lot of pressure on the Fed to print massive amounts of money towards the end of this year, which is going to skyrocket inflation. It's going to skyrocket other things too that I'm actually looking forward to, right? But yeah. So, to the average people who is, who are not like me, who are not like us, who don't invest in assets that outpace inflation, there's going to be an issue with a oversupply of available employees. That's going to drive down wages in a situation where wages need to increase for people to be able to sustain their current lifestyle. How many people have seen all of these videos and all of this content, articles and different things like that about people who are making over $100,000 a year and are living paycheck to paycheck? Now, I want to ask you guys this question. How is it that that situation occurs? How is it that an individual can make over $100,000 a year, right? And they're living paycheck to paycheck? How does that work?
We're focusing on the worst of the worst, but if you're in the country legally, you're not off the table. We're going to force the laws without apology. We need to send a message to the whole world. It's not okay to enter this country illegally. It's not okay to ignore a judge's order. Most of the non-criminals we're looking for, we have a final order removal issued by a federal immigration judge. If those orders don't mean anything, we don't execute, then what the hell are we doing? Just shut down immigration court doesn't mean anything anymore. Take the border patrol off the border, because the message we're sending to the whole world is go ahead and enter the country illegally. It's a crime, but don't worry about it. As long as you don't commit another crime after being here, you're off the table.
DJ
That's not the message we got to
what's
send the whole
bro?
world, because you'll never fix the system doing it that way.
There is an investigation, we understand, into AOC and a worker for AOC who may be an illegal migrant. And it is reported that she may have been advising this migrant how to avoid ICE. If this is accurate, and it turns out to be true, and she is employing an illegal, what will you do?
Hey, I've heard, how many people have heard AOC has been flipping out lately? I heard in passing yesterday that AOC was flipping out. I don't know what she's flipping out about, but apparently she's flipping out. She's going crazy. She's stir crazy over there. I don't know what's happening.
Well, look, I know that information came to ICE a few days ago. I know they're drilling down. I don't know the specifics of the case. It depends on what they discover. And is the person actually illegal in the United States? Are they here in DACA? Are they here in some sort of temporary protected status? I don't want to get ahead of the investigation, because a lot of times this information is bad once they drill down into it. So I'm not going to comment on that until ICE has a chance to dig down and find out exactly what the issue is.
Okay, Tom, the White House is calling out CNN and that ICE spotting app that shows agents' locations on a map. Watch this, please.
There's been a 500% increase in violence against ICE agents, law enforcement officers across the country who are just simply trying to do their jobs and remove public safety threats from our communities. And that's something we as Americans, including journalists at CNN who live in many of these cities where illegal aliens are hiding, certainly it's unacceptable that a major network would promote such an app that is encouraging violence against law enforcement officers who are trying to keep our country safe.
But Tom Homan, the question is, does that app interfere with...
Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Brooklyn Queen said the restaurant where my daughter was employed shut down with no notice this week. that's at least 15 to 20 more people unemployed. Yeah, a lot. You're going to see this all over the place. And like I said, if you guys see or hear anything about this, or there's articles written about this, make sure that you drop them in the Discord so that when we get around to it, we can talk about this kind of thing. Because, you know, it's hard enough to get people to care about this type of stuff when you simply just mention it in passing. It's even equally challenging when you have the evidence. But at least if you have the evidence, people can go back and look. People can go back and look and say, oh, well, you know, they were talking about this over here. What was I doing when they were talking about this over here?
Deportations, and if so, what do you do about it?
Absolutely does, and it angers me. Look, I've been doing this since 1984, Stuart. I've been doing this longer than anybody around here, and I just can't believe we're in a place where.
Shout out to DJ Elmo. DJ Elmo said, have you heard of John Tanton and Federal American Immigration Reform Think Tank? Look this up. If not, I haven't. I'm gonna check it out though. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, I haven't heard of that, but I'm gonna definitely look into it.
You know, a TV network like CNN is talking about this app and educating people on the existence of this app. And ICE law enforcement officers, like I said earlier, they are concentrating on public safety threats and national security threats. This is a dangerous job, and this app is going to give the bad guy heads up that we're coming, which means more bad guys are going to escape arrest, which makes this country less safe, which is a public safety issue. And on top of that, it's only a matter of time for a bad guy, which is like someone who threw a Molotov cocktail at officers in LA, who the assault against ICE officers up over 500%. It's a matter of time for someone uses this app and ambushes ICE officers. This is something we cannot tolerate, we can't stand for, so we're calling them out. And I'm begging the Department of Justice to look into this and hold people accountable. This puts ICE officers at great risk. We're at a place in time where the Democrats are vilifying ICE as racist and Nazis. And on top of this app, I'm scared to death for the ICE officers go out there every day, put their lives on the line. Something needs to be done. I'm begging DOJ to look into this, take some action.
Tom Homan, thank you very much for being on the show today. Hope we can come back again soon.
All right, so I want you guys to understand what's going on here. I want to ask you guys this question. How many people feel that, quote unquote, ICE are racist? If you all feel that ICE are racist, give me a thumbs up. If you guys feel ICE are not racist, give me a thumbs down. Now, you know, we could use some white people logic. Well, do you see all the black people that work for ICE? They can't possibly be racist. Boom, end of discussion. Don't say nothing else to me. I ain't got nothing else to say. You're an idiot. Don't say nothing else to me. There you go. White people argument. Hey, dude. There's no way. You see all the black folks and brown folks and people color that ICE hires? Like, there's no way they can be racist. I have to say it in my best Chad scent, right? There's no way they could be racist, dude. All the paychecks, all the money. Like, have you ever gone to like a middle class community? Like, a lot of the black and brown people that live there are people that work for ICE, and like they put them in these nice houses and pay them these great paychecks. And like, you're trying to tell me that they're racist? Like, I'm sorry, like I just don't see it. I'm sorry, I don't see it. I don't see it. You know, boom, end of discussion. Don't talk to me no more. We done. I ain't got nothing else to say. I won that shit. Next, about to go to church. You know what I'm saying? About to go hit my yacht. Right? I mean, right? I just don't see it, dude. I don't see it. Like, all I see is a bunch of all I see. Oh my God! All I see in LA is like a bunch of brown people like arresting brown people, and like it's somehow like everybody's calling it racist. Like, this is what I'm tired of in the United States. Like, everything's racist. Oh my God! Like, if you ask me, like, ICE is based. ICE is like the most based government organization. Like, I mean, they're based. Don't say nothing else to me. Done. We done. Like, I just destroyed the argument. We done. You know what I'm saying, right? How you guys like that? What y'all think about that? Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Right? I mean, just use that argument. That's just, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know, do that. That would work, wouldn't it? I mean, I don't know if it would work or not. I don't know. But I mean, it's just that's the pattern of how those arguments come in, right? So just use something like that. Just say that. You know, hey, listen, man. You know, ICE hires black people. You know, hey man, hey, you know, not racist, right? I mean, how many people have heard arguments that sound like that before? So just use that. Just use that argument to your favor. Hey, pinch your nose and go to town. Hey man, hey, yo, I don't like this conversation. It's kind of making me uncomfortable. It's making me uncomfortable. Let me loosen up the top. Let me loosen up the top button of my shirt here. You know, it's kind of hot in here. Hey, thanks. You know, Brooklyn Quain says that was spot on. But hey, thanks, sis. You know, right? Because we're all brothers and sisters under God, right? Oh man, right? This guy right here would agree, right? That's what Jason Whitlock said, right? That's what Jason Whitlock said. That's what Jason Whitlock said when Nick Fuentes was roasting those hot dogs on the back of his neck over an open grill, right?
And has found itself in hot water with the White House again, this time for apparently promoting an app called Ice Block, which allows users to track the location of immigration officials in real time. Nothing says journalistic.
Ice Block. Now, this Australian dude here doesn't even know how significant it is talking about ice blocks on 4th of July. How many people went and bought a whole bunch of ice blocks today from the gas station? You loaded up your car, and then by the time you got home, the back seat of your car was just soaked because it's so doggone hot outside. It just melted all the ice you picked up from the gas station. And go get you some little canisters of Blue Rhino from up there. He don't even know what he's talking about, man. He don't even know the jewels that he working with. Boy, it's 4th of July. You know what I'm saying? Boy, it's 4th of July. You know what I'm saying?
Integrity, quite like handing out a digital map to help people dodge the law. The network reported on the app as if it were the next big thing.
Shout out to Black Free Thinker. What's good with it? Yo, and shout out to everybody watching. I really appreciate you guys. If you all have not smashed the like button yet, please do me that favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. Also, please share the stream to your social media. Shout out to everybody watching. Make sure you guys put the number 16 in the chat because we are on the 1-to-1 ratio with 16 live, 16 likes. That's what's good.
Developer is pushing back with an app designed to track ICE activity in real time. It's called Ice Block, and it's controversial to say the least.
Now, the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, found out about the situation during a press briefing. Here's how that went down.
We haven't seen the clip. We'll take a look at it, but certainly it's unacceptable that a major network would promote such an app that is encouraging violence against law enforcement officers who are trying to keep our country safe.
ICE Acting Director Todd Lyons was quoted in an official statement saying, and I quote, CNN's promotion of an ICE spotting app is reckless and irresponsible. Advertising an app that basically paints a target on federal law enforcement officers' backs is sickening. And Border Czar Tom Homan was asked about the situation, and here's what he had to say.
It's disgusting. I mean, I cannot believe we're in a world where the men and women who enforce law are the bad guys.
Hey, this dude right here. What's this guy right here? I think it's called the Benny Johnson Show. Yeah, the Benny Johnson Show. This dude is a YouTuber. He's a YouTuber. And his audience is enough to where he can get Tom Homan on the show. So I want people to understand this YouTuber is a product of what his audience made him. His audience made him a YouTuber that has tens of thousands of people in his chat and has Tom Homan live on his stream. This is what happens when people are invested in making you great. And as I say that, people leave the chat. This is what I'm saying. People don't want these things. And the thing is that people may want these things for particular individuals, but the world may not feel that the individuals that you want to have this kind of contact are worthy. And that's just what it is. That's just what it is. I can show you more stuff like this. Yeah, this dude is a YouTuber. He posts these shorts. He got a whole because his channel's so big, like a whole network of a whole team network doing this. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to, and this is what I was saying. Shout out to the people that watch the crypto channel. This is what I'm saying. Because of the mediocre and poor performances of my channels for whatever reason, because I know it's not because of the quality, right? People are like, oh, why don't you try to get Michael Saylor on there? First and foremost, why would Michael Saylor come to my channel so that like 5 people can watch him live? Like, you got 5,000 subscribers. Why there's only 5 people watching? No, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'd be pissing people off because they be in their feels, you know. It doesn't even provide me any type of leverage to be able to say, you should come talk to my audience. You should come talk to my 5 people. He got 5 people probably walking around in his mansion right now. You don't have to inconvenience yourself and come talk to my channel. If people like this takes nothing either. Like, this doesn't take money to make somebody, you know, like this. And so now you've got Sky News, who is a part of Rupert Murdoch's media organization. They're posting clips from a YouTuber. TD used to have all of those, you know, city council people and political candidates and reparations people come on his channel. And it was never given enough traction by the people that he was making that stuff for to ever get featured anywhere. People can, you know, they can get upset. I don't care. I don't care about people getting upset. I want people to understand I am the least threatening thing that could occur with me in my life is somebody online getting upset with something that I said. That's the least threatening thing. You know what I'm saying? So because that's the least threatening thing, I'm going to continue saying this stuff because there's no consequence to me of it. There's no consequence for me. Shout out to Sybil. What's good with it, Sybil? There's no consequence. There's nothing anybody's going to do about it. You know, I'm going to continue to show people reality, and reality can continue to destroy people's brain. It is what it is. But this is the fact. You know what I'm saying?
And one who broke the law, their victims. And I think DOJ needs to look at this and see if they're crossing that line. I think we need to send a strong message that we need to protect the law enforcement personnel.
Joining me now is Sky News contributor Kosha Garda. Kosha, is this legitimate news reporting by CNN, or is this aiding and abetting lawbreakers, or worse, endangering the lives of officials?
Good to be with you, James. You know, I think from a legal perspective, they're probably not in legal peril because they are just reporting on something, as unsavory as the reporting may have been about an app that's out there. However, it is from an optical perspective and just an ethical or moral perspective, as Tom Homan there said, you could use words like disgusting. That would be on the more charitable side, because Kristi Noem, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, has said that assaults on ICE officers is up 500%.
Now, I want to ask you guys this question. Speaking of OnlyFans model Kristi Noem, right? How many people heard she got in a little bit of trouble, you know what I'm saying? And not because her outfit was too skimpy. She got in trouble because she made some type of comment about some about some she made some she made some type of comment about cannibal migrants. Hey, how many people heard about that? Did y'all hear about that? If y'all heard about that, give me a thumbs up. If you did not hear about that, give me a thumbs down.
Right now, that's an official number that she's put out from that department. And these kinds of things only aid and abet that. So it's not great. This is ultimately for CNN a battle of the narrative where they are losing that battle because this issue, Trump has totally consolidated the base. Everybody's on the side of the ICE officers and his issue of getting these people out of the country, illegal aliens and criminal illegal aliens out of the country. And CNN is trying to see if they can somehow regain and reframe that narrative. But I think it's a sinking ship for them.
Well, speaking of all of that, trying to get the illegal migrants out of the country, Trump has made a visit to a new migrant centre in Florida, dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. The site features hundreds of security cameras, 28,000 feet of barbed wire, more than 400 security personnel. And during the visit, President Trump made this observation about Joe Biden. Have a listen.
If any of the news claims are keeping them out in the hot, humid South Florida, that is wrong. It's probably 62 degrees here, to be honest.
Hey, Biden wanted me in here. Okay, he wanted me. It didn't work out that way, but he wanted me in here. That's
Kosher facilities.
Hey, Trump is so messy, man. Hey, man, Trump is so messy, man. I ain't never seen somebody take every opportunity. No opportunity to be messy can be missed. Like none. It's gotta be messy 24/7. Like for real.
Like those are obviously going to elicit a reaction from people, but where do they expect Trump to put illegals? In hotels? Oh, hang on a second. That's what the Biden administration did.
Indeed, the Roosevelt Hotel in my old stomping grounds in New York that normally retails for $800 a night, and they were being put up there for free. Look, this Alcatraz, alligator Alcatraz is getting all sorts of media pickup around the world because it hits every note of Trump's signature issue. Substantively, he is running, and he ran on and won on many things, but first among them was deporting, mass deportations of illegals. So this checks that box. Secondly, it shows the execution of it and like how you get this done.
Hey, now I got a question. How many people care about alligator, quote unquote, Alcatraz? If you care about alligator Alcatraz, if you think that it's wrong, it's the wrong thing to do, give me a thumbs up. If you think that alligator Alcatraz is the right thing to do, throw an alligator in the chat. Okay? What do people think? I want to know what people think about this alligator Alcatraz.
The cooperation between the state of Florida and the federal government, while you have other states that are actually deliberately uncooperative. And then the optics of it, that this is in Florida swampland that has lots of alligators and pythons around it. So it really creates this natural moat, and it's really a deterrent that hopefully will increase the self-deportations, which is another plank in Trump's policy platform. There's 1 million people who've elected to self-deport because as
Hey, shout out to AB. Shout out to DeAndre. We don't care. We don't care. Shout out to Venting My Truth, 777, Alligator. Yeah, we don't care. Man, that's hilarious, man. That is hilarious.
getting serious with immigration deportations in the U.S. They don't want to wind up in places like these, and hopefully this kind of thing will increase that number, which makes everything easier and better for everybody.
I was going to make the point, Kosher, that even if no one ends up in that facility, it may well work by making people think, you know what, I'd rather just self-deport than take my chances in alligator Alcatraz. Trump.
Hey, it's a lot of, how many people have seen all of the news stories about people just self-deporting? They getting up out of here. Shout out to Win Lose the Rug. Win Lose the Rug said, I'm so tapped out. I'm so tapped out. This is my first time hearing about it. I'm not mad. And shout out to TD. TD be trolling in the comment section like that one dude. Hey, what's old boy name that be in the comment section trolling? TD said, I'm just making sure there's no Trump sneak dissing over here. We don't sneak diss over here. I just said Trump takes every opportunity to be as messy as he possibly can. I've never seen anyone budget their time to make sure that it's maximized for being optimally messy. But Trump does that. Like, I just like, do you have any inside information on how he does it or why he does it? But he's so good at it though, right? So I guess it's not a sneak diss. I guess it's like a compliment, I guess, in a way, or just like statement of a fact. But how does he do it? Shout out to DeAndre. Yeah, he never misses an opportunity to roast. You know, so he said, Biden wanted me here. Biden wanted me in here. That son of a bitch. Like, what? You can't make this up, man. Trump is hilarious, man. Trump is hilarious, man. The dude is funny. The dude is funny, man. Shout out to DJ Elmo. DJ Elmo said the Corporation of America conveniently opens arms to white Ukrainians and South Africans. I haven't seen no SLC-24A5 getting targeted. This SLC-24A5 population replenishment. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. I wouldn't disagree with it. Shout out to Tedra. Tedra said, I low-key like the pettiness of Trump. I'm not mad at that. Shout out to AB Promotions. AB Promotions said, I don't sneak diss Trump. I just diss him, but Trump is hilarious. Bro, that's facts. Hey, shout out to TD. TD, oh, hey, somebody go make a video of it. Somebody go make a video about it. You know Trump liked that song, They Not Like Us. You know what I'm saying? Did you hear that speech when Trump was like, white people The greatest people in the world. Did you hear that one? Oh, man. Trump said, white people. Oh, my beautiful white people. When he was in Minnesota. I understand the segregation of the 60s, and the reason for it is because, well, when it comes to other races, they not like us. You remember when he said that? He said, shout out to Kendrick Lamar? Shout out to Deneen. You remember when he said that? hey, shout out to TD. Hey, go make a video about that. Hey, TD said, Trump told me sometimes you got to pop out and show the Democrats. Yeah, with an alligator too, man. You know what I'm saying? With an alligator. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, so this is the Democrat thing, though, right? There's this David Parkman show. David Pakman. How many people have heard of David Pakman? Now, wait a minute. Before we do this, before we go and look at this video, we gotta look at this one. Wait a minute. We gotta look at this. Now, did you guys hear about that ICE raid? Shout out to Shatera. What's good with it, Shatera? Did you guys hear about that ICE raid? I think it was in New Mexico. And there was these protesters had interfered with the ICE raid. But it turned out that it wasn't an ICE raid. It was like a trap house getting raided or something like that. Did y'all hear about that? Well, in Detroit, something similar happened. Now, they wasn't going into a trap house, but they were going into a trap migrant house, a migrant trap bando, right? And activists interfered with the raid. Let me ask you guys this question. How many people support civilians interfering with ICE raids? If you guys support civilians interfering with ICE raids, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, then give me a thumbs down.
Federal investigation intercepted and a federal vehicle allegedly damaged by demonstrators protesting an ICE raid in Detroit.
Yes, the chaotic scene unfolding Monday near Livernois and Joy. Now police are launching an investigation. Fox News' Ingrid Kelly with the latest.
I think that was it? I'm not even about to say it. Where TD at? TD still in the chat. Look, TD. Did y'all look at this, man? Hey, see, look, here it goes. People don't like it. Shout out to my man, Alpha Male Pimp Network. People don't like it, so they leaving. But I know I didn't just see what I thought I saw. Did they? I know I didn't see what I thought I saw. Was that a black dude that they pulled from that house trying to interfere with these ICE raids? Let me in the chat. Did you guys see it? Somebody got some splaining to do. Hold on real quick.
Intercepted and a federal vehicle allegedly damaged by demonstrators protesting an ICE raid in Detroit.
Yes, the chaotic scene unfolding Monday near Livernois and Joy. Now police are launching an investigation. Fox News' Ingrid Kelly with the latest.
People all across the country have been responding to the kidnappings because that's what they are.
What? Leave it to, man, I like Detroit too. Come on, man. What y'all think about him? I don't have my drops, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have my drops. Shout out to DeAndre. DeAndre said you could tell by that boy voice, you know he's soft. Hey, what? These are actually kidnappings. Anytime somebody sounds like the gingerbread man on Shrek, you already know what time it is. You already know it's about to be a bunch of nonsense and mumbo jumbo coming out their mouth. what's really going on here is kidnapping. They're coming into these places, taking these people, and it's just wrong. It's just wrong. And we've got to fight. You see, I got the fist on my shirt. You've got to fight the power. Come on, man. Come on, bro. He's the king of the stupids. The only thing you're ever going to be king of is king of the stupids. That's why he was at the No Kings parade. No Kings. You know what I'm saying? Hey, see, that's what stereotyping to do. Hey, shout out to Windows and Ruggs. See, hey, that's what stereotyping to do. Windows and Ruggs said, I was not looking at the screen. I thought it was a zesty Latino speaking. Boy, was I wrong, man. Boy, was you wrong. Boy, was you wrong. You know what I'm saying? That's one of them corner store boys that's talking right now. Hey, that's one of them block boys that's talking right now. That's one of them corner store boys. Look, they are officially in the hood. They got that Mercury back there with the different panel. Man, you could tell too because the sidewalk ain't edged. Like, look at all these weeds growing all up through the parking lot. Like, come on, man. Trim some of that. Trim some of that. Them houses, those are some old, sturdy brick houses. Like, that neighborhood would be nice if those houses were well kept. Yeah, shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Facts. I don't even have my drops. This dude is the definition of I can't eat. I'm broke, ninja. I'm broke. Type dude. Yeah, Juicy, like, you go ahead and start rapping and you get a check then. I said the exact. Not only does the model of the Mercury tell you everything about the neighborhood, bro, the side panel being maroon and the rest of the car being green tells you everything you need to know. Everything you need to know. And they got it sitting there like it's, it's on the showroom floor. I just bought this yesterday. You really? That a car that you just bought yesterday shouldn't look like this. A car that you've had for 25 years should look like this. This is after you've had the car for 25 years and you like, you know what? I'm not about to pay for comprehensive insurance no more. We just getting liability. I'm gonna pay cash. You know what I'm saying? To old boy. That's a crackhead collision repair right there. I'm gonna buy a box of Natty Light and give it to somebody over there to fix my car because I got a little dent. This car right here. Oh, it is a Buick. It is a Buick. Shout out to AB. AB says, y'all don't know nothing about cars. That is a Buick Regal. I thought it was a Mercury, a Ford Contour, a Mercury Contour. AB said the car actually has 3 different colors. No, the hood is dusty as hell. The hood is dusty. It's got dust and that stuff that be falling out the trees on it. You know that, you know those fuzzy seeds that fall out the tree and it just be a pile up of them inside where the windshield wiper is. It got those all over the top of the car. It's a cloud of smoke anytime that car goes over 30 miles an hour. And it's not because of mechanical failure. It's because it's just dust and dander. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you remember those? What was the Mercury? Maybe it was a Ford Contour and a Mercury something. What was I forget the Mercury model of it. That's what I thought it was from at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? But you're right. It is one of them like older school Regals. Hey, shout out to Windless and Rugg. Windless and Rugg said, AV like cars that'll get you pulled over out here. Bro, especially this one. This car with this side panel is getting you pulled over. This will be the car that somebody is transporting some drugs in too. With the side panel screaming, "The crack is under me." You know what I'm saying? Like the insert crack here. Like this is where all the bricks and bags are. They're under this panel right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let the dog come on this side of the car. Like, come on, man. Come on.
Of individuals by ICE.
That scene taking place Monday near Joy and Livernois, where ICE officials say they were there to arrest an illegal alien from Honduras who had been removed from the U.S. twice. In fact, officials say the man fled ICE officers earlier that morning.
Their neighborhood being surrounded by officers with assault rifles.
As tensions ran high, activists from Detroit People's Assembly described what went down.
Federal agents got tired of waiting and kind of just busted down the door, dragged out one of the family members.
Once outside, activists say the person was put into an unmarked vehicle, which then tried to drive away.
Escaped with the detainee through a large grass field.
That's when an independent demonstrator decided to move in.
Hopped in his truck to try to cut off the...
Like, people just crashing out here for no reason. This is why the numbers in the chat are going down, because on YouTube, this is what people are telling you, that they're having so much influence out here that people aren't still out here moving like this and behaving like this. And we got a local news story substantiating that all of that talk is BS. People are still doing this stupid stuff, which means that no one cares what these people are saying. Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said, bro, out here is damn near more normal to have a high ass car note than to own a car. It's crazy. Shout out to AB. AB said, look at the people chilling on the porch. Look at them chilling on the... Oh, girl. Child, I heard that was illegal over there. I'm finna put this on TikTok. You already know the conversation that was taking place over there. I hope they don't come over here messing with us. Why would they come over here messing with you? You already know everything that was said. You don't even have to be there to know the entire conversation. And on top, listen, somebody lit up a blunt too while they was there. And then while they're lighting a blunt, smoking it, I hope they don't come over here messing with us. Well, it's not the DEA, so you're lucky. You know what I'm saying? The weed is outside their jurisdiction. But I mean, like, this is what goes on. Shout out to DeAndre. So glad we ain't no Mexicans. Where we gonna get our tacos from tonight, girl? You know they was down there at that food truck. Like, for real? Yeah, shout out to AB. Facts. Or shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Fact. I knew it. I was always curious because, you know, he never really could talk right. And I had this feeling. I thought they was from somewhere else, but I didn't know they was from somewhere else. Illegal, girl. Hey, look, we need to do the lie detector test. How many lies told? How many lies told? Somebody put the amount of lies told in the chat.
ICE agents' trucks. He cut off the truck, but there was no actual impact.
Detroit police were already at the scene because...
Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Brooklyn Queen said that's exactly how those conversations be flowing. That is exactly how those conversations be flowing. You know what I'm saying? That is exactly how the conversation. That's exactly how the conversation be going. Look, and the kids about to go outside. Tell them kids go back in the house. ICE over there. ICE ain't about to mess with the kids, man. Or you telling the kids go back in the house because ICE over there. You know what I'm saying? It's other people that be over there that's gonna do more harm to the kids than ICE. Tell them to go back in the house when them fools be over there, not ICE. Hey, shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said we be knowing though. Yeah, we do. That's what Chris Tucker said. The weed be letting you know. Evil lurks. You know what I'm saying? And then somebody got into an argument because somebody was holding the blunt for too long. Child, you gonna pass that? I ain't hit it but once. You sitting over there babysitting that thing.
The federal agency requested they be there to keep the peace. Detroit police have now launched an investigation.
What was that old lady name on 227? Pearl. They all sitting out there like Pearl on 227. like that lady on In Living Color. Ain't none of my business, but you ain't heard it from me. You know what I'm saying?
After this demonstrator allegedly interfered with the federal investigation.
As an organization, we don't endorse hopping in your cars to go try to cut off federal vehicles as they drive away. But at the same time,
so listen, hey, this dude who's an activist, he just said, I wouldn't advise you to intervene in these ICE raids the way that the black people did, even though that person did that. You know, I don't know why, but that's basically what he just that's basically what he just said. You know what I'm saying? Like this is crazy, man.
As they drive away, but at the same time, this is an expression of folks who are incredibly frustrated.
Detroit police took this demonstrator into custody, and another person was also arrested for malicious destruction of property of a separate federal vehicle. And that's not all.
Right. Hey, look. Shout out to Brooklyn Quick and Lester come home from work on the stairs. What the hell y'all all doing out here? What was Lester's wife's name? You know you ain't supposed to be. Get in the house. All right. Y'all have a good night.
Detroit police then used pepper spray after protesters entered the street and approached a scout car.
We're not endorsing any, radical action as an organization, but at the same time, if people decide to take that on their own, we're not here to condemn them either.
ICE officials released a statement to Fox 2 which reads in part, it is a crime to obstruct or otherwise interfere with an ICE arrest, and anyone involved may be subject to prosecution under federal law.
I thought it was Mary. I thought it was Mary Jenkins. Shout out to Venting My Truth. I thought it was Mary Jenkins. It is Mary Jenkins. She said, oh, well, I'm going in the house. I got to cook dinner. I'll see y'all later. And Pearl will be like, mm-hmm. Hi, Lester. X, dog, man. I'm about to binge watch 227 tonight.
And as this investigation by Detroit police continues, these activists say their work will continue also.
We as an organization, we as a community will continue to resist the fascist agenda of the Trump administration and their attempts to scapegoat immigrants.
In Detroit, Ingrid Kelly, Fox 2 News.
I hate that.
So now to this story I mentioned a moment ago. Sanctuary cities in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts are not deterred.
All right, hold on real quick. Let me see something, because yeah, that's for one, that's old. Right? For one, that's old. Now we're about to take a look at this. There's a video clip that was put up. Okay. There's a video clip that was put up by MSNBC. And this video clip that was put up by MSNBC shows them being outraged about Trump saying, quote unquote, maybe U.S. citizens are next. Now, I want to get the consensus of everyone in the chat. Shout out to the big, beautiful chat, right? If you guys haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. Also, please share the stream to your social media, all right? How many people believe that in the next 3 years, U.S. citizens will be deported? If you guys think that this will occur, give me a thumbs up. If you do not think that this will occur, put a clown face in the chat.
Disastrous decision by the Supreme Court 4 days ago that allows the Trump administration to begin implementing a flatly odious and unconstitutional order on birthright citizenship. Well, today, the administration announced it will begin deporting people subject to that order as soon as July 27th. It's madness, but it is madness with a method, which is to deconstruct the foundational concept of what it is to be an American.
Well, ironically, I actually agree with that statement. But I'm sure he's not going to like my agreeance with that statement. Fundamentally, what it means to be an American is to come over here undocumented, ransack the place, squat, call it your own, completely redistribute the population, and act like you found the place. That's the exact same thing that the undocumented people are doing. They're doing the exact same thing that the founding fathers are doing. So I guess in a way, if we're saying that Trump stopping this wave of undocumented stuff, you know, is un-American, technically he'd be right, because that is the legacy of America. That is the way that America was founded. Right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Tammy. What's good with it, Tammy? So you know, probably not in a way that he would like. I actually agree with that comment. Yeah, you know, people been ransacking the United States and coming over here and, you know, doing all kind of exploitation and weird stuff for centuries. That's how the country was built. So, you know, he's absolutely right. I'm sure he wouldn't like that explanation of it, but it's historically accurate.
A concept created in this country's second founding by the 14th Amendment and the victory of the Union in the Civil War. A belief that we are all Americans across all lines of difference, from race to religion to creed.
Yeah, that's not what that was about, the 14th Amendment. They didn't come to that conclusion after the Civil War. If you guys would agree they didn't come to that conclusion after the Civil War, give me a thumbs up. And this is one of the problems when you have people like this trying to re-implement American history as if they have any type of investment or if it's contributed to their family in any way, shape, or form. That's not what that was about. What it was about was dealing with massive populations of slaves who had been released into the Confederacy. It wasn't about anybody else. It wasn't about people where he's from. You know what I'm saying? So there's that.
Second founding by the 14th Amendment and the victory of the Union in the Civil War.
What was the Civil War about? Undocumented people? Was the Civil War being fought because the Confederacy was just bullying the massive waves of people coming over the southern border? Is that what that was about? The Civil War? Let me ask you guys this question. What went on during the Civil War? What was going on here? Shout out to Cameron.
A belief that we are all Americans across all lines of difference, from race to religion to creed. They hate that. They're trying to destroy it. Sherilyn Ifill is the founding director of the 14th Amendment Center for Law and Democracy at Howard University. She was previously president and director.
We're not all Americans. And if everybody is American, what's the value of being an American? There's no need to have any type of distinction then. Right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Like, think about that. He said, quote unquote, we're all American. No, actually, we're not. Like, there's a lot of people that are not American. There's a lot of people that are from different places, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. But if everybody is under one identity, then there's no need for individual identity, but everybody has an individual identity, and they're trying to downplay the individual identity. Shout out to DeAndre. Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug made a comment about this yesterday. DeAndre said, oh, hell, another black woman at the forefront of this. I mean, this is just bizarre. Is this like some type of voyeurism type thing? Like, what's going on here? Shout out to the people that are part of the Discord. If you guys are part of the Discord, when you guys see goofies like this banging for weird objectives, shout out to my man Carlton Way. When you see goofies banging for quote unquote strange politics, make sure you guys throw the link to the source in the Discord so we can talk about it. Now, here's the question that I want to ask you guys. How many of you all made this woman great? Did y'all make this woman great? You know I'll find out. You know I will. Who made this woman great? Now, why am I asking who made this woman great? I'm asking that because who cares about her opinion? Now, they're using a bunch of black people to do this because one of the reasons why they're using a bunch of black people to do this is because they know that ICE is just going to arrest a bunch of these people on the spot. ICE is just waiting for the right illegal migrant or the right person that they could take into custody with some type of justification to be up front in front of these arguments, so they could make a example like, see, we got your best man right here. We took your best man out. Better stay out of the limelight. So the Democrats are doing the same thing that the conservatives do, and they're using a black shield. You know what I'm saying? They're using a black shield. This is a Democrat, Candace Owens. We're using a black shield. You know what I'm saying? Hey, shout out to TD. Make sure y'all show. And look, TD ain't gonna believe me. He gonna think I'm being shady. But I can't even drop the. I can't even do the drop. You know what I'm saying? Because StreamYard is acting weird. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to TD though. TD said, "Bro, you got to give me an honest reaction to the tweet that I reposted the other day, the one that I told you about." The white woman promoting black jobs by the way of deportations. I'll drop the link. Let me ask y'all this question. Is that woman doing better than that Shiloh Hendricks chick? If she's doing better than that Shiloh Hendricks chick, give me a thumbs up. If she's not, give me a thumbs down. Okay, case closed. Right, okay, case closed. We're done with that. Now next. Oh man, hold on real quick. Let me see. Oh shit, what the hell? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hey, make sure you guys do these polls that's in the chat too. And shout out to y'all, man. We 5 out of 10 on the goal. That's what's good. That's what's good. This one right here, Lauren Witzke post right here will definitely take us to the goal. Right? The Lauren Witzke post will definitely take us to the goal. Hold on real quick. Now we gotta make sure that we have TD's comment here visible. Right? And matter of fact, we about to put the link to this tweet in the chat. Go make TD's tweet great. Share TD's tweet. Make TD's tweet great again. Hold on. Hey, I'm one of those old people that still calls it Twitter. You know what I'm saying? When the kids are like way younger and like I'm a super duper old man, the kids are gonna be like, oh, he still calls it Twitter. Millennial. You know what I'm saying? Okay, millennial. You know, it's gonna go from okay boomer to okay millennial because I think we're millennials, right? The most horrible generation in the world, which is, you know, is great. I think the older people was like generation, like people that was born in like 1960 are like Generation X, right? But shout out to TD for buying the lunch. Oh, it's Gen X. We're Gen X. What year was y'all born in? I gotta make sure I qualify. I thought we were millennials. Thank God we're not. Hey, you hear that, TD? I said thank God. What you gonna do about it? All right, so let's check this out. TD posted, black jobs. Trump will never get the credit he deserves because idiots stay working overtime looking for a reason to hate. Facts. If y'all agree with TD, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Lauren Witzke says, as invader food cart vendors are disappearing in Southern California thanks to ICE, American teens are moving back in to take their place. And then she shows some black folks. You know what I'm saying? So let's see.
This summer, me and my twin brothers decided that we're going to open up our own bacon wrap hot dog business called Glizzy Street. Instead of doing nothing at home, we want to make some money and try to do something.
Oh, y'all was 76, 79. Womp, womp, womp. TD's a millennial.
Something big.
Now, anybody that's in California, y'all need to go make this hot dog stand great. Go buy some hot dogs from these boys. Shout out to TD. TD said, why you got to use the conservative Karen voice? I don't know. Just, making an observation of the profile picture. That's all. That's all. No harm, no foul, right?
Invested $400 that we saved from working weekends at our family gas station to start it up. It's a pretty big
And they family got a gas station. That's what's good.
investment for us, but with some hard work and long nights, it will all be worth it. The first day we were pretty nervous and there was no customers for the first hour. Then things started to pick up. First, we sold 1 hot dog, then 2, then 5, 10, and at the end of the day, we ended up selling over 20 hot dogs, which is pretty good in my opinion.
Hey, if they made them if they made those with Italian sausages instead of hot dogs, they would blow up. That's the hack for them right there. Get rid of them hot dogs and use either oh my God. See these peppers on here? If they did this and used Italian sausage, if you got a choice of either Italian sausage or polka kibasi, that's it. Shut the game down. They about to have a restaurant in 2 weeks. Anyway, back to this.
Start to pick up. First, we sold 1 hot dog, then 2, then 5, 10, and at the end of the day, we ended up selling over 20 hot dogs, which is pretty good in my opinion. If you want to show us some support, we are located in Long Beach at the American Oil gas station 7 days a week from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Be sure to like, follow, and share our journey. We hope to see you soon. Peace. This summer, me and my trip.
Hey, man, people that's out there in that area need to go make them hot dogs great, man. Go make them hot dogs great. This is exactly what people said that they wanted. People said that they was, quote, unquote, eating the cats, eating the hot dogs, right? And taking the jobs. So, look, now they got the jobs back. They got the food truck popping. Go make them food truck rich, right? Go make them boys food truck rich. Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said, that's the hood. I'm out there. Hey, let me know how that let me know how that food tastes. And tell them I said, use some Italian sausage and use some polka kibasi. Leave them Oscar Myers alone. Leave them Oscar Myers alone. Shout out to Tedra. Tedra said, do they have a permit? I would assume they do. I hope they do. I would assume they do. But if they don't, we definitely for sure then got to fund them so that they can get one, right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Now, unlike those 2 gentlemen that we just saw doing something productive, let's look and see what this person who I think is about to do some non-productive stuff is about to say. Yeah, man. Shout out to TD. I don't have a problem with that tweet. How many people got a problem with that tweet? Speak now or forever hold your peace. They definitely gonna have some people coming to the place now. You know what I'm saying? Because that lady shared their tweet. Because she got about 5 million subscribers for no reason. So her Twitter, like just like how Elon Musk did King Randall, her Twitter account is about to make them rich. Which one? Who got a Twitter account that can make me rich? Somebody help me out. You got, never mind. Let's go.
Director Counsel for the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. She has a new piece out this week titled A Court Without the Range, the Reconstruction Court 2.0, and she joins me.
Oh, the Reconstruction Court. Is that what this is? You see what she did? You see how she blacked it? You see how she blacked it? What y'all think about that? You see how she blacked it? Why? Look, hey man, don't get mad. Why are people leaving? Look, she blacked it. We're going to call this Reconstruction 2.0. How is this Reconstruction 2.0? How? What is she talking about? Reconstruction 2.0? Shout out to you guys in the comment section. Somebody explain to me how this is Reconstruction 2.0. How is this Reconstruction 2.0? Let me ask you guys this question. What is Reconstruction 1.0? Shout out to TD. TD said, "Win, lose, or rug. You in Long Beach? I'm finna pull up." Hey, yeah, man. Y'all need to pull up and do a video supporting them cats. TD, put the video on your channel. Look, I'm talking about supporting black business, and I want you guys to observe how your fellow fist pumpers, the numbers are being pushed down in the chat. Let's go find somewhere else where somebody's talking about something dumb. I want you guys, make sure that you see this. Now, everybody explain this to me, how this is happening. Explain this to me. I can tell you exactly how it's happening. Anytime you try to help the unhelpable, you harm yourself. So as I sit here trying to help the unhelpable, you see it's harming my channel. You see this. Understand the truth about reality. You know what I'm saying? You're seeing this in live action. You're seeing this in real time. Hey, go buy some hot dogs from those two young black boys. In less than 30 seconds, the numbers on the chat go from 25 to 17. We supposed to support our businesses. We supposed to support our businesses. I want y'all to see the truth and how pathetic it is. You know what I'm saying? And don't ask any questions about why things are the way that they are. Y'all literally just saw the world being correct. That right there, that was a perfect adjustment of reality, which proves why the world is correct. It was a literal numerical adjustment in real time. Shout out to shout out to Tetra. Tetra said unhelpable is my new favorite word. Yeah. Yeah, he said the boys out there 7 days a week. Now, you know, if everybody left to go buy themselves a hot dog, I wouldn't be upset about that. Right? I wouldn't be upset about that. But I got this feeling that that's not what happened. How many of y'all think that everybody left the chat to go buy some hot dogs from the two brothers? If you guys think that that's what happened, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that that's what happened, give me a thumbs down. I hate to be cautiously pessimistic, but I don't think that that's what happened. Shout out to TD. TD said that's effing crazy. No, what's effing crazy is to continue to try to help unhelpable. That's the actual effing crazy thing. See, like, these are just chronological events that occur. But as you can see right now, currently, I'm denying chronology. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Alpha. Yeah, people would rather deep throat hot dogs than go buy some from those two brothers. That's what we dealing with. They rather deep throat some hot dogs than go buy some from those two brothers. Oh, you do that for free now. You know what I'm saying? Alpha Male Pimp Network said, what's sad is people would rather watch and support the 4th of July hot dog eating contest. Yeah. I just want y'all just understand this, man. Understand this. Now, you know, hey, listen, man. People will say all kind of stuff, but here go to reality. That white lady or any white people, they're not obligated to buy one hot dog. That white lady that featured that, not even obligated to feature it. And she featured it. She called the kids American, right? She didn't call them black. Now, if somebody black had done it, they'd be, you know, black kids, right? Black kids, black family, right? Whatever, right? She just said, here go American kids taking their jobs back. Okay, you know, whatever. That's cool, right? That tweet should not bring in more revenue than support of people who sit there and say that they support black businesses. But I got this feeling, though, that her tweet is probably going to generate massively more revenue for that aspiring business than where the revenue should come from. That's somebody's burden to bear, and it ain't mine. Now, here's my question. How many people are comfortable with that? How many people are okay with that? How many people think that that's greatness? if she doesn't spend a dime at that hot dog shop, but her tweet is responsible for hundreds of thousands of dollars of revenue, and that dwarfs the amount of support that he gets, what would you guys say about that situation? How would that look? What would your explanation of that situation be? Now, shout out to TD, right? Because TD is the only person that I've seen on Twitter support that black business. More questions coming, right? Why is that? Why is that? Maybe she got the answer for us.
Counsel for the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. She has a new piece out this week titled "A Court Without the Range: The Reconstruction Court 2.0," and she joins me now. Now,
I asked this question before, right? What is reconstruction? She's calling the court Reconstruction 2.0. What is reconstruction? That's my question.
Sherilyn, we are seeing a sustained attack on some of the foundational ideas of the Reconstruction Amendments. None more foundational, I think, than this question of who belongs and who's a citizen.
Now, this dude is clearly trolling. What y'all gonna do about it? Clearly trolling, clearly disrespecting. Again, what y'all gonna do about it? Where are the YouTube tough guys at? Let's introduce the YouTube tough guys to this video. Now, here's my question: what's going to happen? What is anybody going to do about it? What's anybody going to do about it? Shout out to DeAndre. DeAndre says she went to Howard. It all makes sense now. Hold on. Now, that's supposed to be the pinnacle of success. All black everything. Black school. Right? We got to add that with Brandon Johnson. Black school, black wife, black house, black family, black car. What's going on here? What's going on here? Why is this lady saying this? And what is anyone going to do to stop her? Is my question. If she's incorrect, what's anybody going to do about it? Nobody's going to do anything. Nobody's going to do a damn thing.
Titled "A Court Without the Range: The Reconstruction Court 2.0," and she joins me now. Sherilyn, we are seeing a sustained attack on some of the foundational ideas of the Reconstruction Amendments.
Why do so many Democrat women look like KRS-One? Here's an even better question. Why, if I ask a dumb question like that, people got to answer for it, but if I'm like serious and trying to figure out the answer to something, literally no one has an answer to it? Questions. People lie and say that they love Neely Fuller Jr. so much. Rest in peace, Neely Fuller Jr. I'm just saying.
None more foundational, I think, than this question of who belongs and who's a citizen. What do you make of what we are seeing now that the Supreme Court has paved the way to begin some kind of patchwork implementation of this executive order?
Thanks so much, Chris. This is a danger of the highest order, a danger to our republic as we know it. The conservatives on this court and conservatives in general have long pushed back against the promise and the power of the 14th Amendment to our Constitution, which was ratified in 1868 after the Civil War. The purpose of the 14th Amendment was to ensure that Black people, formerly
So what does it have to do with illegal migrants then? Shout out to DeAndre. Yeah, they all look like KRS-One. Like, it's really strange. Like a damn KRS cloning factory or something like that. And they just all, there's just a factory of genetically modified. There's a factory somewhere of genetically modified pro-black coons that are used with a splice of KRS-One's DNA. They made them like Serpentor. You know what I'm saying? And they put them at all these different news agencies. This is ridiculous. She looked like the Me Too lady. Like, they all look alike. You know what I'm saying? The hell? That's, yeah. Again, this is what we need to have a discussion of. Somebody needs to sit down, and we need to have a sit down with this woman. But how can you do it when people won't make your channel great? You see, Benny Johnson could get a sit down with this woman, right? People want the right questions asked. Now, again, we need to answer DeAndre's question. Why do they always reach back 100 years and try to tie in black suffering to this immigration situation? It's literally Democrat default. It's DD. This is what I told you. Anytime there's an issue, they automatically turn it into some type of black plight / black weakness. Shout out to AB. AB said, nah, she looks a little bit better than Tawana Burke. She do look a little bit better than Tawana Burke, but the resemblance is there, though. They came off of the same... They came out of the same test tube. You know what I'm saying? They were dropped onto the same slide in whatever laboratory they were manufactured in. No, shout out to DeAndre. DeAndre said they're cousins. No, they have the same lot number. They have the same lot number and expiration date. You know what I'm saying? They're not cousins. They came out of the same packaging. You know what I'm saying? They got the same barcode. They got the same model number. They're not cousins. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't say a Honda Accord and a Honda Civic are cousins. You know what I'm saying? DeAndre. Oh man, that's crazy, man. But again, so let's just run this down the line, right? So as she starts off with her argument, initially, right? Initially, she says the same thing that the lawyer that we watched yesterday said, that Trump said, and that everyone said. So when it comes to this discussion, what it seems like is that it seems like everyone starts out at the same place, but then the discussion veers into, shout out to my man Carlton, quote unquote, strange territories. Okay, so we somehow find ourselves in strange territories as this conversation progresses. Right? Let's continue.
The conservatives on this court and conservatives in general have long pushed back against the promise and the power of the 14th Amendment to our Constitution, which was ratified in 1868 after the Civil War. The purpose of the 14th Amendment was to ensure that Black people, formerly enslaved and free, would be full citizens, but also was to reset our country and to center the principles of equality and justice in our country.
Says who? Because that's not true. Because women's suffrage and all that stuff was still going on, and they had the black codes and all that after that. That was not the purpose of the 14th Amendment. The purpose of the 14th Amendment was population distribution only. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. 14th Amendment, Section 1, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the states wherein they reside. Slaves, many of them were born in the United States. Slaves who were captured free black people or who were transatlantic slave trade trafficked, right, were naturalized and under the jurisdiction of the United States because they fell under the jurisdiction of the plantations or businesses that they were a part of. This applied to them and them only. Those applications cannot be extended to other people. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. And again, shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all have not smashed the like button yet, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell, and also please share the stream to your social media. Now, my question for you guys is, what is this lady doing? What is she selling? Who's buying what this lady is selling? Who are the people that are buying what this lady is selling? That's my question. Who's buying what this lady is selling?
And that's the project that they are pushing back against. They have decided to go for that first sentence of the 14th Amendment: all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state in which they reside, what we call birthright citizenship. Except it's very explicit. It's very explicit language in the Constitution. You can't pretend you don't know what they mean, anyone born here. And the framers of that amendment were very well aware that it would mean that the children of migrants, the children of non-citizen workers who were...
No, they weren't, because again, I want you guys to pay very close attention. Again. Now, again, my question is, what do people plan on doing about this? The migrants were the people who had the slaves. In those days, what is she talking about? European migrants owned the slaves. The Constitution was created by European migrants about slaves who were not migrants. Right? First and foremost, that needs to be put out there. Right? And again, I want you guys to understand, never wonder why these arguments aren't publicly dismantled. We have look at the chat numbers, man. People want a comedy show instead of getting things executed. I want you to understand that. Understand that. Please do not ask questions about, well, why this, why that. Y'all want the people that strike out as your hitter when the bases is loaded. You're going to lose the game every time, and I don't care. I don't care. I could care less. People moving like that, I ain't playing for that team. I'm not playing for no loser team. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not a loser. Now, my question is, why are people allowing this moron to sit up here and make this nonsensical argument? Who were the migrants at this time in the United States? She said they knew this was going to be for migrants. What migrants? Who was migrating to the United States like that during this time?
Of that amendment were very well aware that it would mean that the children of migrants, the children of non-citizen workers who were born here would also be citizens. Nevertheless, over
non-citizen workers back in the 1800s? That was that big of an issue that it had to be dealt with politically? I call BS. Where are the people to counter these arguments? You know why no one counters these arguments? Because there's not a demand for it. There's a demand for a comedy show. There's a demand for, oh, Karen did this, or Karen did that, or this person said this. This person told the truth, and all it is just ego stroking. There is no demand for the destruction of these destructive arguments, and I want people to clearly understand that. And that's why these destructive arguments destroy. That's why they remain. Please do not act confused about it, because no one's confused. Those days are over. Those days are over. People can either do what they want and make a better judgment call, or they can have a front row seat to their demise. And I think that people are more concerned with having a front row seat to their demise. But when you're next in line, right, don't ask anyone to get you out of the line, because you put yourself on the waiting list. There's a tax associated with being stupid, and it's called nothing ever goes your way. So again, no more people asking dumb questions. No more people acting like they don't know where or how things are occurring, why they're occurring. That we're not doing that. We're not doing that. People are going to get called dumb. People are going to get called incompetent. People are going to get called worthless. People are going to get called a waste of space. If that's what people show. So again, my question for everybody is, whose job is it to deal with this nonsensical propaganda right here? Whose job is it? I keep asking these. There's no delegation of responsibility, no sense of responsibility, no chain of command, no organization. Shout out to DeAndre. DeAndre said, what is the benefit to black people for going so hard for this? I don't understand. Well, her benefit is her, she's going to get a paycheck. And again, let's just say I decided to do this. I could make a lot of money just being a Democrat shill, right? And see what I'm not getting right now? What I'm not getting right now is a paycheck. Because the people who claim they want these things addressed, they're not creating a exchange rate of worth for that thing. So at this current juncture, it's worthless, right? The worth of having these arguments dealt with appropriately is zero. The worth of her promoting these arguments is in the millions of dollars. The worth of being a coon is in the millions of dollars. At the end of the day, regardless of what anybody says, what anybody's self-righteous and sanctimonious argument is, this is a biological fact. People gotta eat. If you know anybody that don't gotta eat, like a breatharian or something like that, let me know. You know anybody that don't gotta eat? I'd rather eat doing things that I believe in and doing things that I like. But at the end of the day, the longer you go without food, the more hungry you get, and the more urgent you gotta eat becomes. So here goes my question. If you guys, really have an issue with this type of thing, why don't you feed the most competent anti-BS arguments? You don't feed it because it doesn't have any value. You all determine the value. The market determines the value in any economy. The market determines the value. The market is responsible for the value. The market is responsible for deconstructing these arguments having zero value. Is everybody clear on that? So just understand that.
The course of the last 15 years, we have heard many Republicans talk about ending birthright citizenship. And President Trump now has come up with a way, with the aid of the United States Supreme Court, to skirt around the plain language of the 14th Amendment to try and implement something that looks like a carve out from this most important and most vital constitutional protection.
One of the things I think it's worth people getting their heads around, this is reporting in the New York Times, immigrant rights groups in 22 states, all Democratic leadership, have sued over the citizenship order. 3 federal district courts vacated the policy. In 28 states that did not challenge the order, such as Arkansas, Mississippi, North Dakota, and Texas, the order can go into effect. Now this...
Hey, shout out to TD. TD said, I live in LA. I got to eat, B. Mar-a-Lago threw me that contract. I had to take it. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. Only people who don't have money and don't understand the economy and are not willing to put money behind what they believe in will have an issue with that. And we deal with a lot of people who are all of the above. As many selfies as people take and as many selfies as people post, you'd actually think that they would be able to look at themselves and see what they were made of. But clearly they still are under some type of delusion. Shout out to Crew Reality. What's good with you, bro? So again, my question to everybody in here is, what is the value of deconstructing these arguments? What is the value of it? And here's my question. If the value is anything other than $0, how do you justify the $0 the $0 accumulation of funding behind anything like this? If the value is not zero, if the value is so high, why is this not one of the highest priced things? Honestly, like this is one of the reasons why people have an issue with Bitcoin, is because the mathematical proof of work system that validates the value of Bitcoin is something that's inescapable, and it destroys all excuse-based arguments. And when there's no way to escape an excuse-based argument, you have to do the Brandon Johnson default. And so to avoid doing the Brandon Johnson default altogether, I just, it'd be like people who deny, like, a diagnosis of a chronic disease, just act like it don't exist. It don't exist. I can't deal with this right now. I can't deal with it right now. It'll deal with you though. It's not gonna wait to deal with you. You just can't deal with it right now. I'm saying. So again, right? Type me through this. What does this have to do with immigrants? Could you imagine if people utilized World War II history to just, provide massive benefit for people who are not, survivors or people who aren't directly related to World War II? Could you imagine the just massive outrage? So again, my question is, who's the boss, right? So we can ask them for a full report of what's being done and how it's being done. We need the roadmap to how these arguments are going to be dealt with and removed. What's the roadmap? Who wrote the roadmap out? I want to see the white paper on this. Where is it? I want you guys to understand something. None of those things exist. No one cares. It's unfortunate that people don't invest. People are so financially illiterate. What is a prospectus? A prospectus is basically a piece of literature that tells the quote unquote prospects of what a company plans to do over a given duration of time and how it provides value to the shareholders. What is the prospectus of getting these arguments out of here, and who wrote it? If any of the things that I'm asking about can't be produced, what I need you to understand is that no future results will be produced. So instead of like all these people who run around in disorganized fashions and tell you to demand this and demand that from politicians, why don't you demand organization from the organizers so you can actually get something from politicians? When you demand organization from the organizers, that's when it's time for the organizers to show whether they can versus can't produce that organization. And if they can't produce that organization, well, you know what I'm saying? You need to pull the funding and get a new organizer. I want to ask you guys this question. Why are people so scared to do that? Why are people just little maggots writhing around on a month-old piece of pizza at the bottom of the dumpster? Why? Why? Choice.
You know, there might be class actions that get certified, but just to think about the practical reality of every hospital in America, or at least in these states, becoming the frontier of creating a second-class non-citizenship status that they are administering to women coming screaming in labor pains.
Remember, the core of our reset country through the 14th Amendment was that this is a country that has no caste. It has no levels of citizenship. But this is precisely what this administration is imagining. And it's happening, Chris, at a time when we are watching masked ICE agents roll up on people outside the Home Depot and wrestle them to the ground.
Does anybody care about this? I mean, again, what is people's response to this? I've seen live streams where people have an extreme issue with the content being discussed, and people have massive amounts of feeling about it, massive amounts of engagement to produce. Shout out to Ronnie. You know I don't believe in the shadow ban, bro. I think the shadow ban is digital urban legends, but welcome back. But I want to know what's up with that. Somebody let me know.
And we're watching them, deport people and send people to third-party countries with which they have no connection. Is that what is going to be happening to newborn babies who are born, who they believe fall under this executive order, which purports to deny birthright citizenship to those who don't have at least one parent who's a citizen or a permanent resident? Are they going to be, as you say, outside maternity wards, these masked agents, or in maternity wards, trying to take babies away from their parents, or outside the homes of new parents, trying to enforce this executive order? This is beyond dystopian. It already has been dystopian. This is contrary to everything, not just that we believe in this country, but that any decent country premised on the idea of democracy believes in. The question is, will we allow it to happen? The Supreme Court had to know. They were given a green light to this, even though they have said, there could be these class actions, which are aggregated cases where lots of people come together and bring an action. As you point out, there are jurisdictions where federal courts very much disfavor class actions.
And again, it's interesting, right? I want you guys are very interesting to me. I see a lot of people watch content where the content creator does not care about what you all think. They're not interested in your contribution of opinion or thought to the topic that they're talking about. They just want you to sit there and shut up and listen to you all. And I'm actually interested in people's thinking capability. And so I encourage people to talk, and I encourage people to interact, and I encourage people to engage, even if you disagree with me, right? As long as you're respectful. We have people that come into the chat that are disrespectful. It's a different story, right? But what I find fascinating is that people struggle to make their voices heard in places where nobody really gives a shit whether you're alive or not. You're just another super chat to that person or those people. And I actually am interested in the dialogue, and people freeze up here. You know what I'm saying? Like they're at the state championship and their team is dependent on them to shoot a 3-pointer and win. Again, I've been asking for explanations of things for literally the last 45 minutes. Let's continue.
Through the Fifth Circuit, for example, where individuals would have to bring their own case, find a lawyer, bring their case to be able to keep this EO from going into effect against them. I cannot imagine what we might be facing by the end of this month. And so I think we have to gather ourselves and really recognize what is coming down the pike. And if we add it to Trump's comments today and earlier about his desire to move United States citizens who are imprisoned in this country to other countries, we are looking at something very, very, very horrifying, something we have really, frankly, never seen before in this country. And we're going to have to make some real decisions about where we draw the line.
The president today musing, in case anyone thought this was really about citizenship or immigration, musing today openly that actually there's people born here who are citizens that we should do the same thing to deport them, move them out of the country, render them to third party prisons. I mean, it seems to me that like this, there is no sacrosanct line here to defend in their view. It is, we are what you are, and you have whatever rights we say you have.
Well, and you can guarantee that if you are a black or brown person, you have less rights than everyone else. It will only be a matter of
There you go. And that's what everybody wanted to hear. This is why people listen to her, because this is what people learn as substantiation. Yep, I can relate, because we ain't got nothing. We ain't got no rights. That's what that is so pathetic. That is such groveling. And it's become an entire culture. Shout out to Intuitively Wise. What's good with it, bro? Welcome to the stream. Like, it's just that right there. That's the trigger that's necessary to get people's attention. Let me see what she's talking about. You sound crazy. Think about this. When other people talk, they're talking about prosperity and opportunities and business and financial frontiers and stuff like that. The gateway to a conversation with somebody like this engaging in that person's audience is you got to talk about how, like, the down badism. It's pathetic. It is the absolute pinnacle of pathetic. This is not a flex. People think that this is a flex. And again, this whole idea, these people that are considered brown, they don't consider themselves brown on job applications that they fill out. It's just pathetic. This pathetic, aimless attempt at just aimless unity is just absurd and grotesque. Now, my question is, who's the boss? Somebody take me to the boss, because I want to know what the boss is going to do about this lady right here. Get me the boss. See, I'm on my Karen shit. Give me the supervisor, because I want to know what's going to get done about this. Where is the vehicle that we've created that can pump support, financing, and funding into someone who is capable to deal with and defuse this BS? Where is the organization? Where is the planning? Come on, people. They even put YouTube even put new little trinkets into the chat to try to encourage people to talk more and to engage more. And aside from that, me constantly asking people to say their opinions, and I still can't get nothing but 2 words out of a lot of y'all. I don't understand it. It's bizarre. It doesn't make any sense. You guys that have people thinking I use bots on my channel. You know what I'm saying? More making me great. Like, How many people are okay with what this lady is saying? Everybody clearly is.
Foreign here who are citizens that we should do the same thing through, to deport them, move them out of the country, render them to third party prisons. I mean, it seems to me that like this, there is no sacrosanct line here to defend in their view. It is we are what you are, and you have whatever rights we say you have.
Well, and you can guarantee that if you are a black or brown person, you have less rights than everyone else. It will only be a matter of time before he extends.
Why? I want to know. I want to know in the chat why, if you're a black or brown person, right? I'm not concerned with the latter. So you should automatically set yourself up for the lowest standards. If you have a child and that child says, I want to be an astronaut, you should tell your child, well, you're black, so you know you can't do that. You know you'll never be able to be that. So you should always scale down your self expectations because you're black. You're being told this by a black person. Everyone else is told to scale up their expectations because they're capable. You're being told to scale your expectations down. And people believe it and people buy it and they unify behind it and create a culture based on it and think that it's some type of flex. You have less ability because you're black. You know what's interesting about that? I never really see that play out in sports very, very well. You have less ability because you're black. I never see that play out like in any type of artistic venue. But if you say that black people are capable, you're a coon. But then at the same time, the very people that call you a coon say that we built everything. Like, which one is it? Which one is it? I blame the public for this. Part of the blame goes on these people for just being complete blithering, greedy idiots. But I blame the public, just like I blame the subscribers on YouTube. I blame the public. The public builds these people. Public acceptance. And if you haven't gotten this person up out of the paint, if you haven't rendered their arguments completely useless, that means that you accept this. And I want to tell you guys, a lot of people are experts at literally accepting shit. If there was a shit accepting expertise, man, I could name a bunch of people who are the people to go to if you have a problem, because they really know how to accept some shit. I think that's pathetic. That's one of the worst qualities that anything that is classified as human could possibly have. I want to know why you should automatically assume that you don't have rights, quote unquote. You don't have rights. You don't have capability if you're black. I want to know why you should be allowed to self-degrade yourself. You should tell yourself this. You should repeat this to yourself. And if someone else says it, your lid pops off. This is what I want to know. I need to know the mechanics of that idiocy, please. I don't like I'm one of the few people, my bad, sorry. I'm one of the few people in the world that doesn't like not understanding things. And this is something that I've never understood. So I'm asking people to help me understand it. See, I can actually admit when I don't understand something. Unlike everybody else who says that they knew everything way before it happened, but yet they didn't act on it to cash in on it. These people on YouTube act like they know the lottery numbers 3 months before, and then when the jackpot is posted, they'll say, see, I told you. I told you it was 10, 64, 35, 66, 77, with no evidence of ever posting those numbers later or before. They'll just keep telling you that they told you something. Nobody told anybody anything. No one told anybody anything. My question is, why are people's standards so low that they accept this? Who taught people the low standard culture is my question. Who? I don't know, because I wasn't taught that. But I want to know who. Stop protecting these people. You know what I'm saying? This is what I say about people always protect all people. These people, these Democrats, they protect criminals. Certain communities protect criminals. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Musing, in case anyone thought this was really about citizenship or immigration, musing today openly that actually there's people born here who are citizens that we should do the same thing through, to deport them, move them out of the country, render them to third party prisons. I mean, it seems to me that like this, there is no sacrosanct line here to defend in their view. It is, we are what you are, and you have whatever rights we say you have.
Well, and you can guarantee that if you are a black or brown person, you have less rights.
Why? Hello? Let me ask you guys this question. How do you guys like hearing this being said about yourselves all the time, everywhere? How do you like it? I think people actually do like it because they repeat it. And I really don't see a risky approach at changing that if that is the believed narrative. And I want to know why. I want to know why. Somebody got to have an answer. I don't like the fact that people can't say things outside of talking points. I think that anybody who calls himself a teacher or anybody who calls themselves, an analyst or an educator, and if the only thing that you can supply people who patron your ideas with is talking points that are one-dimensional, you're pathetic. And you're creating a pathetic lineage, a pathetic prodigy, a pathetic legacy of future morons who can't fight their way out of a paper bag. It's pathetic. This woman shouldn't even have the ability to be able to link up with MSNBC because the investment in maintaining the integrity of our history and our culture and our heritage should be so highly valued that there's unlimited resource at making sure that the integrity of it remains pure. But there's not, because people are pathetic. They're fucking pathetic. You know what I'm saying? It's just sad.
Than everyone else. It will only be a matter of time before he extends this to people who are critics of him. So race will at some point not be the line that is drawn anymore. But at least for now, if you are brown, if you are black, that's why he thinks going for the prisons will disproportionately give him that population.
If you again, let me ask you guys this question. How many quote unquote brown people are listening to her? How many brown people do you think appreciate her message? Shout out to Intuitively Wise. Intuitively Wise said, once I saw how much talking heads were paid to spill their grift, I don't take what they say seriously. I disagree with that stance. And me personally, bro, I think that you should reevaluate that. One thing that you should consider is who's paying them, because I don't know what people don't get about this, but no one works for free. Literally, most people have a job and most people wouldn't work for free, right? So let me ask people this. If you're an employee of a company and you take a paycheck, does that make you fake or inauthentic somehow? You're not a real employee unless you do this shit for free. Right? This was my problem when people were going in on Roland Martin for taking the Democrat money. What people should really be mad at is not mad that Roland Martin got the money from the Democrats. You should be mad that you can't produce the amount of money that's necessary to dwarf the amount of money that the Democrats paid Roland Martin and pay the people that you think are better than Roland Martin more money than that. Those organizations that quote unquote pay those talking heads, they pay those talking heads because they value the potential effects that they have. Yeah, of course they're told what to say, just like people are told what to do at work. Again, where is everybody at in the chat? Who at work gets told what to do? Now, again, y'all ain't real unless you work at your company for free, because I can't trust you genuinely support the company, right? I want y'all to. We're gonna test this. I want you guys to understand. We're gonna test this logic, right? So when people talk about these people are quote unquote paid, everyone is paid. Who do you think out here is volunteering? Let me ask you guys this question. How many of you all think I actually enjoy sitting at a computer for 2 hours and 31 minutes for free? I could be playing basketball. I could be working out because I actually do those things, right? Again, I'm serious, right? Let me ask you guys this question. For people that have a job, if you work a difficult job, a labor-intensive job, whatever job that you work, how many of you all like doing that shit for free? Anytime there's been a mistake on your paycheck, have you ever just, I'll just let them have it this week because, I like my job. Just let them have that extra $500 they forgot. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to show them how much, show them how much they mean to me. Now, when you go to a job, you're told what to do. When you work if you work at McDonald's and you don't like McDonald's food, none of you would sit there and tell a customer when they come in, McDonald's makes their burgers with pink slime. Why? Because McDonald's told you not to do that. You're told what to say. Now, you know what you could do? You could repeatedly buy hot dogs from those two brothers who have that hot dog food truck until that food truck becomes a standalone restaurant. Work at the standalone restaurant, provide quality service until the standalone restaurant becomes a franchise nationwide. And then instead of working at McDonald's, you could work at this franchise that you contributed to making great. And then you can make the franchise even greater and eventually take over McDonald's market cap. And then McDonald's won't tell you that they can't say that the burgers are pink slime. You can make a commercial and say the difference between us and McDonald's is that our burgers aren't pink slime. But I want you guys to understand that these people, that most people's brains have been so pathetically degenerated, they can't even see themselves in the form of any type of greatness. All they can do is just talk about it in the event of feeling inferior to other people. And it's fucking pathetic. Now, anytime anybody complains about any of these people, Joy Reid, Tiffany Cross, Don Lemon, ask yourself why the $3 million black economy is not pouring that money into the people that you believe should be saying that, because those market caps are higher than any of those businesses. If you look at black people's total assets as a market cap, those assets are more than MSNBC. So pay somebody that you like. What are people waiting for? And then when you pay the people that you like, then you can tell them what to say. But they're going to say it automatically because they actually genuinely believe these things. You just supported what you believe. See, here's the thing. I want you guys to understand something. Understand this. Lack of support in ideas that you believe in shows as an exposing that people don't really believe what they believe. The fact that there's no business to compete with any of these major media outlets, it shows that people don't truly believe what they say that they believe. Otherwise, these things would exist. Shout out to Intuitively Wise. Intuitively Wise says, I want people to be sincere when dealing with people's lives. I don't give a shit how sincere you are. I want people to be capable. Sincere is a feeling. I want somebody to be sincere. I want somebody to be capable. I want somebody that's 100% competent and capable of accurate execution. I don't want somebody that, really cares. See, and no disrespect, right? But that's the difference between me and you. I want somebody that's effective. You want somebody that's sincere. Now, here's my question, and this is a question to everybody in the comment section. Let's just say my pick, which is somebody that's effective, versus Intuitively Wise's pick, which is somebody that's sincere. Who do you think's pick will get the job done the best? Let me know what you guys think. And again, as you can see, people are exposing themselves. We're dealing with, and I'm not talking about you when I say people are exposing themselves sincere. I'm talking about the chat numbers, right? I want you to understand your peers are not capable of constructive thought or critical thought. They can't handle it. The evidence shows it. I'm just pointing it out. So now, again, the question is, what do you do with that? What do you do with that? What do you do with that?
Well, and you can guarantee that if you are a black or brown person, you have less rights than everyone else. It will.
There you go. You can guarantee that. You can guarantee the 10-year Treasury rate, and you can guarantee the 10-year Treasury rate. You can guarantee that you're going to die, and you can guarantee that if you're black or brown, according to this lady, you don't have rights. You don't have the same rights as everyone else. Why haven't people built an apparatus to maintain their rights? Shout out to AB. You good, bro? I'm curious. It's always questions, right? Now, this is the most contradictory thing that I've ever seen. For people who claim that they support and love Neely Fuller Jr. so much, and Neely Fuller Jr. is one of the original question everything people don't be having no answers for questions. Someone sincere can give you false information. This isn't an argument, Intuitively Wise. Someone who is not capable can give you false information. Someone who is sincere can give you false information. Anyone is capable of giving you false information. It's not an argument. You need to have someone that's competent and can complete the task. That's why people hire hitmen. People hire hitmen because they can competently execute the target that they're being paid to execute, not because they care. If a corrupt company needs to get a CEO out of there so that they can win over some type of shareholder settlement, and they have some undercover fund and they pay a hitman to take out a CEO, do you think they care about whether the CEO has stock in that company, or if the hitman plans on working for that company or uses that company's product? No, they care. Are you able to do this clean and make it where it doesn't lead back to us? I want you to understand it's this kind of thought process, which is one of the reasons why the current methods have a 0 success track rate. 0. And people are still forcing their head trying to do things the same way and constantly are providing more data showing how incompetent and incapable these legacy methods are. People are showing evidence of being not able to evolve. And I mean, this is something that should be dealt with. One of the reasons why are showing the incapability of not being able to evolve is because a conversation should be had whether intelligence has been completely breeded out of particular populations. That should be a conversation. When you have a situation where there's a anti-intelligence sentiment and a pro-degenerate sentiment, to the extent where the degeneracy is so attractive, that is who people make the choice to create families with. That then takes away from the genetic sharing of intellectual capability. And you have people that make statements like, I can't mess with this individual unless they a killer. Well, you just bred a killer instead of breeding a particular doctor. So the question has to be asked as a result of particular types and particular elements of culture. Has intelligence been bred out to the point where now intelligence is such an anomaly among some people, it's a birth defect? Somebody should do a study. Think about this. If highly intelligent people are not accepted, if highly intelligent people are not welcomed, 2 things happens to those intelligent people. They get absorbed up by other people, right? They get absorbed up by other people, or they never pass that capable genetic material down the line. So then it doesn't go any further. How long do you think that's been going on? When has anybody ever made any type of media or any type of content saying, you know, one of the most handsome things is an intelligent man? One of the most handsome things is an intelligent man after people have had, you know, their fun with degenerates and the JPay crowd. You know what I'm saying? Then an intelligent man, you know, is a good cleanup guy. Maybe an intelligent man don't want to clean up. Maybe an intelligent man already got absorbed elsewhere. So now that genetic material also gets absorbed elsewhere. So now how does intelligence get passed down? And what doesn't get passed down gets eliminated over periods of time. That's how evolution or de-evolution takes place. Yeah, shout out to Win Lose the Rug, Green Dot, JPay boys. You see this? Shout out to Win Lose the Rug. You see this, bro? We hitting them in the. You see, people can't take it, man. We busting them. We hitting them with them liver shots. They can't take them liver shots, bro. You know what I'm saying? So there's all type of things, right, that should be quote unquote studied. A lot of the things that I suggest that should be studied are circumstances that we have control over. You could do as many studies about reparations as you want to. Reparations is still contingent on some form of agreement or compromise or negotiation. ensuring that a minimum level of intelligence is genetically passed down, that's a self fix. That's a self fix. But if you talk about self fix in comparison to some fix that's supposed to be provided by other people, you're a coon. I need you guys to make these things make sense and explain them to me. I need you guys to make these things make sense and explain them to me. And what I want people to understand is that no one wants to explain any of these things. No one wants to address any of these things. Everybody is 110% perfectly fine with the status quo. Let's make another outrage video. Let's make another outrage video. Let's get outraged. What's the new outrage that we should get outraged about? She wants you to be outraged about the migrants. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Win, Lose, or Rug. Win, Lose, or Rug said, I think MF's afraid their excuses will be dismantled. They will be destroyed entirely. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to TD. TD said, I see Rob got ninjas fleeing in the live stream. They can't get it popping in the chat, bro, so they got to flee. You know what I'm saying? They got to flee, and they ran so fast, it pushed their hairline all the way back to the back of their neck. You know what I'm saying? I want to know who the boss is, and I want to know why this lady's still employed. To the boss. Because the boss is the boss, and the boss supposed to fire people, right? How come she ain't fired? Where the boss at? I want to talk to the boss.
Only be a matter of time before he extends this to people who are critics of him. So race will at some point not be the line that is drawn anymore. But at least for now, if you are brown, if you are black, that's why he thinks going for the prisons will disproportionately give him that population. That's why he's doing this around birthright citizenship. We just had a Supreme Court that
black people. What do black people have to do with birthright citizenship? That's my question. Hold on real quick. That's my question. All right, hold on real quick. Give me 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds. Now, we're going to talk about these Iranian nationals. No, you, bro, AB funny, man. You good, bro. You know what I'm saying? You let your boy go in. Let your boy talk his talk. Hold on real quick. I got you. Give me 1 second.
In the U.S. and Iran play out, border security officials in the United States are also facing a new concern. Intelligence suggests that Iranian nationals are trying to get into the country with the help from the Mexican drug cartels. News Nation's Jorge Ventura joining us from San Antonio with more on this. What's the latest and what details or evidence do we have this is happening?
Hey, Marty. So from the FBI to Border Patrol, federal authorities do remain on high alert of a possible retaliatory attacks within the United States. Now, according to new internal documents obtained by News Nation, Border Patrol agents on the southern border did receive intel that 35 Iranian nationals in Mexico were planning to cross the border illegally. And that intel also suggesting that cartels like Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generacion and Los Salazar may be involved in smuggling that group into the United States. And that threat window is running through Saturday. And it's part of what officials are calling a growing concern about potential state-sponsored actors using cartel routes to reach the United States. Agents working the Jalisco to San Luis corridor have been told to stay on high alert and to expect this group may be part of a broader network. That alert comes just 1 week after Border Patrol did issue a separate memo saying that the threat of Iranian sleeper cells within the United States has never been higher. That memo also urging Border Patrol agents to not travel alone at this time. Marty.
Added urgency as we're heading into a 4th of July holiday weekend. Also, Jorge, the alert comes days after ICE arrested several Iranian nationals. They were already in the U.S. and had serious ties with terrorism, at least some of them. What happened?
Yeah, that's right. This is a major security concern. So just last week, ICE did arrest 11 Iranian nationals living in the United States illegally. And at least 3 of those individuals admitted to having ties to a foreign terrorist organization. One individual admitted that he was a former Iranian army sniper. Another individual said that he was part of Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps. And a third individual even admitting that he was linked to the terror group Hezbollah. And the Department of Homeland Security did confirm that some of these individuals came through visa and parole loopholes under the Biden administration. Some had final deportation orders for years, but remained in the United States. ICE also arrested a U.S. citizen who harbored one of the fugitives and allegedly threatened to shoot agents during that raid. And this all ties back to what many federal law enforcement describe as a new era of border threats. Since January 2021, Border Patrol did encounter over 2,500 Iranian nationals at the southern border, and Department of Homeland Security hasn't disclosed just how many Iranian nationals were released into the United States. That does include hundreds labeled as special interest aliens, meaning that their home countries raise national security concerns. This is also coming, Marnie, as the Department of Homeland Security has recently also apprehended.
Shout out to Tampa Supreme. What's good with it, bro?
Individuals on the Texas border with ties to special interest countries as well. Marty.
All right. Appreciate the update, Jorge. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app.
All right. So there's that. All right. So let's get back to this lady right here and finish this. Right. Because again, I'm still curious, man. Yeah. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Yeah, they still admitting this. I still want to know where the boss is at. Like what is the boss gonna do about this?
That has allowed him to go forward with excluding, 500,000 people from Venezuela and the Dominican Republic. He's lifted TPS for Haitians. So there are going to be all kinds of people who are potentially subject to this. But it's only a matter of time.
Shout out to Tampa Supreme. Tampa Supreme said, I support ICE. Are you on the left or on the right? I'm not on neither the left or the right. I'm for real, like a true independent. And I don't mess with no law enforcement at all. But, as far as ICE go, you know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at what they doing. ICE is about the only law enforcement agency that you really don't have to worry about just deleting a black person out of the clear blue sky. So from that aspect, you know what I'm saying? I would say ICE is probably one of the most tolerable law enforcement agencies, but I don't mess with law enforcement at all, bro. I don't mess with the police. I don't mess with police. I don't mess with ICE. You know what I'm saying? I don't mess with Popo. I don't mess with ICE. I don't mess with U.S. Marshals. I don't mess with Highway Patrol. They all the same as far as I'm concerned. I don't mess with none of them. You know what I'm saying? I don't mess with law enforcement, bro. You know what I'm saying? At all. I don't care what's going on in the country. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about none of that. Hey, look, I'm not mad at what ICE is doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, they could do their thing. Hey, stay away from me still, though. You know what I'm saying? I don't mess with law enforcement. You know what I'm saying? I don't mess with law enforcement.
Time before it gets around to you are not a citizen if you criticize this government. So this is what we feared. It is happening.
So yeah, this lady right here, again, shout out to Leonard. What's good with you, bro? What's up with this lady, man? What's up with this lady? We're going to take a look at this alligator Alcatraz. Yeah, shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said, why someone got to pick a side? Whoever is completely one side or the other side. The left and the right are not anything that I feel has any type of benefit for me. Particular things that the left or the right may be doing at one moment could possibly be something that I'm interested in. You know what I'm saying? Like Trump and how he is supporting Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency industry. That's something that I'm interested in. As far as like, I'm about to be banging for the left. I'm not banging for no left. I'm not banging for no right. And I don't support no law enforcement. You know what I'm saying? I don't do none of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't do no supporting of law enforcement whatsoever. I don't support laws and I don't support law enforcement. You know what I'm saying? Now let's check out this alligator Alcatraz. Look, they got an alligator right. They got an alligator right there. They got an alligator right there waiting. Here go my question. I want to ask y'all this. Because and I'm with that. Shout out to Tampa Supreme. I support the truth. I support the truth too. Let me ask y'all this question. How many people that are on these quote lefts and on these quote right, how many of y'all think that those people quote unquote welcome you to their party? Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said that picking a side shit is a sign of low frontal cortex function. Bro, you ain't never lied. That's facts. That's the size of what's called acorn brain. Hey, the scientific terminology for it is acorn brain. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Carlton. What's good with you, bro? Hey, Carlton, look. Shout out to John Guillory. John Guillory put this article in the Discord about XRP about XRP going to $4,813. Man, they need to sit down somewhere, bro. We about to really clear the chat out now. But I gotta show Carlton this because he here. You know what I'm saying? You know everybody is allergic to talking about cryptocurrency. You know what I'm saying? So y'all gonna have to share. Y'all gonna have to share the video out after I put this up. But I gotta put this up for Carlton because this is that extreme. This is that extreme stuff I'll be talking about right here. Come on, man. By 2030. By 2030, $4,813. Hey, listen, man, if that happens, I am not upset. But for real, though, shout out to TD. TD said, I support the truth, too, and Trump is the truth. He got Truth Fi. Now, I do support Truth Fi. You know what I'm saying? I do support, I do own stock in Trump Media Group. You know what I'm saying? Look. How did you know? Shout out to Windows Rug. Windows Rug said this got to be crypto basic, bro. How did you know? How did you know? XRP finna get to $4,813. Man, if you don't sit your ass down somewhere. Man, if you don't sit your ass down somewhere, man, XRP is not finna be no $4,800 tomorrow, man. It's not about to be that by hey, listen. Like I said, I'm not mad at any of those crazy XRP price predictions. If XRP is $4,800 by 2030, hey man, listen. Hey, shout out to TD. As TD would say, that's a blessing, right? But come on, man. At the same time, like, come on, man, stop it. Let's look at this Alligator Alcatraz. How much money is Alligator Alcatraz going to? How you buy stock in Alligator Alcatraz? When the IPO? Somebody let me know.
The largest immigration detention center in the United States, and it is said to cost nearly $500 million a year to maintain. Here's the president making the sell.
It's known as Alligator Alcatraz, which is very appropriate because I looked outside and that's not a place I want to go hiking anytime soon. But very soon, this facility will house some of the most menacing migrants, some of the most vicious people on the planet. We're surrounded by miles of treacherous swampland, and the only way out is really deportation.
So the question is, do you need it? And why? Who better to answer it than the man in charge of figuring out who gets deported and how, Trump's White House border czar, Mr. Tom Homan. Tom, thank you very much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Chris.
So it is interesting how Alligator Alcatraz has made so many people happy and feel like the government is finally doing its job, and so many people absolutely outraged that this is.
I want to know how many of y'all are outraged. Shout out to TD. You need that Golf of America hat? Hey, I'm about to make a fake one and sell it as merch. I'm about to make a fake one and sell it as merch. I'm about to make fake MAGA gear, bro. I'm about to straight pirate that. You know what I'm saying? Alcatraz. Hey, shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, hey, Carlton said Alcatraz with alligator is deflationary. Hey, Carlton said alligator with Alcatraz is deflationary right now. Hey, what about alligator with migrant? Yo, that's wild. That's crazy work. Hey, hey, pump.fun. Pump.fun. We need to make somebody make a song about pump.fun. You know what I'm saying? You can make it happen on pump.fun. You can make it happen on pump.fun. Hey, I want an alligator Alcatraz hat for real. I ain't gonna lie to you. TD said he wanted the Gulf of America hat. I want an alligator Alcatraz hat. I want it. It's gonna have. Hey, yo, how wild would that be if the alligator had a sombrero in his mouth? Like, that would be crazy. That would be crazy. They wouldn't let you wear that around. Shout out to DeAndre, right?
Demonizing and dealing with people who entered illegally as if they were all hardened criminals. How do you respond?
They entering illegal, like, this is insane. He just said they're dealing with people that entered illegally like they're criminals. Did you hear your sentence? Like, this is insane. Like, the level of, like, I'm not even gonna hide how stupid something is that I just said anymore. Is wild. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said alligator is a powerful beast. They can rip anything to shreds. Hey, 100 men versus alligator. Who y'all money on? Because we got to do stupid stuff like that. We got it. Let's try to be relatable. How many people want to be relatable to our peers? Let's be relatable to our peers and talk about the stupidest shit ever. 100 men versus alligator. Who y'all got on it? Y'all feel? Do y'all feel more relatable? Do y'all feel more relatable? You know what I'm saying?
The government is finally doing its job, and so many people absolutely outraged that this is demonizing and dealing with people who entered illegally as if they were all hardened criminals. How do you respond?
Well, you know, we prioritize those that are public safety threats, not just illegal aliens. Those who
shout out to Win Lose the Rug. Win Lose the Rug said, "Man, that was a sad time in human existence, bro. It's getting to the point where human existence is a sad time in human existence." If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down.
Serious criminal convictions and that's with national security threats. And this is facility is key for is criminal aliens. Those are a threat to public safety.
Hey, shout out to Carlton. Carlton said 100 men for the win if the fight is on land. That's because alligators it'll just sit there and do that stupid barrel roll. But if the alligator be in the water, though, it's a different story. The alligator gonna tear shit up in the water. Shout out to Win Lose the Rug. Win Lose the Rug said MF's really debating animal abuse. If there is a God, he gave up at this moment. Listen, if there is a God, is evidence that God gave up. If there is a God, there's evidence. You know what I'm saying? If there is a God, right, it's evidence that God gave up. As a matter of fact, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the New Testament is evidence that God gave up. As a matter of fact, the New Testament is evidence. Because God said, like, I can't even do nothing with these motherfuckers, man. I got to send Jesus down here. I can't even do shit with these motherfuckers. Like, man, I created these motherfuckers, and these motherfuckers became so far gone and so ain't shit. I can't even fuck with them no more. I gotta do something else. I gotta redo the whole approach because y'all ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Win Lose the Road. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all know I don't go down that road, right? But I'm always willing to walk the walk, right? So, like, you know, if we walk the walk, right? I would, if there is indeed a God, he's clearly said fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Fuck this shit. Fuck y'all and fuck this. I'm not even going to show no evidence of myself no more. Like, it's not going to be no type of like miracles. It's not going to be no type of like I'm finna talk to you and shit like that. Motherfuckers just about to call you schizophrenic. Ain't gonna be no burning bushes no more. I'm not about to tell you how to save yourself if some shit happen. Like, good luck with an ark. You know what I'm saying? If y'all motherfuckers hungry, good luck with manna. You're not getting that anymore because you're not shit. I'm saying? That motherfucker said, I had all these planets in this big ass universe. I'm stopping this bullshit with Earth. Shit. Fuck, these motherfuckers on Earth and wore me out. You think I'm about to put people or life or anything like that on any other planet, man? Get the fuck out of here. This shit right here is enough. This is Earth itself is enough bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing this shit no more. Yeah, shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said God probably started somewhere else. It created a whole new universe. That's why we the only ones here. This shit was so fucked up. He just stopped this shit in the middle and said, I'm about to do something else. I'm about to close this up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm about to start this shit over somewhere else because this one is too far gone. You know what I'm saying?
Need these beds. You know, I've been saying since January 20th, if we want to run this deportation operation, we need funding. We need more detention beds. Everybody we arrest, we need a bed because they're going to be in detention from several days to several months, depending on the case. So, and yesterday, I didn't see the numbers today, but yesterday I woke up, we had 1,600 beds across the nation empty, 1,600.
Hey, here go my question. Look, I know this is gonna bring TD out. TD in the chat. TD in the chat hiding. This is gonna bring TD out of hiding. Why is Christy Nome there? Can anybody answer that question? Why is Christy Nome there? She's the actual ICE mascot. Like, it's wild that they got it's wild that they got a mascot. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got an actual ICE cheerleader. You know what I'm saying? That shit is crazy. This shit is hilarious, man.
We'll fill them in a day. And we're constantly playing this keep up. We got to remove so many people. We can only arrest so many people. This day we got so many beds. So these are.
Hey, shout out to Carlton. Carlton said maybe God sent Bitcoin down to be a savior, and people didn't realize it. People never realize it. If God does exist, right? Think about this. If God does exist, any quote unquote thing that God has ever sent down as a savior to help people, people have rejected it. They rejected getting on Noah's Ark. They deleted Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, you know, I don't know if the Bible, you know, the Bible doesn't provide evidence. It's not that I don't know. The Bible doesn't provide evidence of any type of quote unquote deity, right? But one thing that the Bible does provide evidence of some things. And the Bible provides evidence that even in ancient myths, people are dumb and they're stupid and they reject opportunity at every opportunity. Oh, that pattern is very clear in the Bible still. You know what I'm saying? Clear that's something that's clear. And what's fascinating about it is that instead of learning the truth that the Bible teaches about humanity and how fucking retarded and shitty people are, they try to take what there's not evidence of and make it the real thing, when the real thing is that people ain't shit. You read all 66 books of the Bible, and that theme is consistent throughout there. The Bible is a big book of people not listening to the alleged God that they say that everyone's supposed to listen to, and people shitting on other people. Shout out to AB Promotions. AB Promotions said the Bible is very good for instructions. Facts. Basically, just it depends on what your objective is. If your objective is to be rich and prosperous, right? If your objective is to be rich and prosperous, then become rich and prosperous. If your objective is to be shit on by everybody and be poor for the rest of your life, then do everything that every notable character of the Bible did. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said the lift made it out of Egypt and was complaining about it. And then the question is, how did they get in Egypt in the first place? People was out here. They was getting live. People in the Bible days was getting live action miracles and decided to worship Moloch. people are stupid at every turn. You can't use the Bible to show evidence that there's any type of deities, but you can use Bible to show that there's evidence that there's all types of dummies. They was getting live action miracles allegedly in that day. Live action in real time. Make some shit appear. I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying? Manna start coming out the sky. Talk to me and shit. The fucking tree start burning and motherfuckers start talking and shit. You got live action miracles. It's not a challenge to believe shit like it is today when there's nothing happening. But allegedly back in these times, they had live action miracles. And these motherfuckers said, I'm gonna go worship Moloch. Any heinous punishment that was levied to the people of the Bible is absolutely justified in how fucking stupid they were. You know what I'm saying? It's absolutely justified. Any of the horrors, any of the harms. Oh my goodness, Sodom and Gomorrah. You deserved it. You literally have live action miracles going on back then, allegedly. You have live action miracles, and even in live action miracles, you're too stupid to realize that clearly something is more powerful than you, and you probably should not really upset it. Man, get the hell out of here, man. They deserved all that. The people in Sodom and Gomorrah, they deserved all of that. Lot's wife deserved to be turned into a pillar of salt. She deserved it. These people worked hard for it. All those people that worked hard to not get on Noah's Ark, they deserve that eternal supply of water that they got. And they should be happy because it's a lot of people out here that are water deprived, right? I mean, it's wild. But what's interesting about it is the Bible bumpers don't bump the Bible that way. They don't bump. Now, my question is, why don't they bump the Bible that way? I'm not trying to be funny, man. A lot of people be like, XYZ and certain people are quote unquote children of God and all that. If you ask me, based on the performance of how people lived out their circumstances in the Bible, I wouldn't necessarily say that being a quote unquote child of God is a flex, because they didn't really display a lot of like gratitude worthy things. They displayed a lot of justifications of like the mass die-offs. So, I don't know. Like I said, with certain things, people should kind of be careful of the type of rabbit holes that they go down. You know what I'm saying? Like, we's the childrens of God. You mean we's them people that had live action miracles and went off somewhere and worshipped Moloch? Okay. Why don't we just leave that one to the unknown? Well, because they have made that white lady Cleopatra. I don't care, but me personally, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I care about any of that shit. You know what I'm saying, I don't know how much I really care about any of that shit.
Give us a little breathing room, give us extra beds so we can target more criminals throughout the country.
Everybody's talking fiscal.
But again, what is Kristi Noem's purpose? Why is she here? Does anybody have the answer to that question? What is Kristi Noem's purpose besides being the ICE mascot? TD ain't gonna like that. You know what I'm saying? I gotta talk a little shit about Kristi Noem.
Austerity. You're not a lawmaker, but you do have to deal with budgets. And they look at this line item, and it's one of the biggest ads, hundreds of billions of dollars to run this one facility. And
right. Shout out to AB Promotions. AB Promotions said, but being chosen was supposed to be a job, a requirement to be a light to the masses, and they failed. Now, let's just say, for instance, that God is a real thing, right? And let's just say God chose people who claim, or God chose people who showed an incapability of being able to follow in the path that he wanted them to follow. And let's just say, for instance, there were other people on the planet that saw that. How do you think other people on the planet feel about God choosing people who present as not capable of doing what God expects of them? And other people will say, well, we are capable. Why were we not chosen? So do you think that other people would have an issue with, why are these incompetent people chosen? If these incompetent people are chosen by God, then it really shouldn't matter what we do to them at all times. I see people. I see people who have left. I guess the mind. I guess the mind never wandered that far. Why am I not surprised? Imagine if you're going for a job, right? You got your boss is like, I got this position, and when I hire somebody, that person will be the chosen one, right? I'm gonna choose this person for this job. All right. Now you got all these competitors, right? All these competitors. I'm gonna choose the one that I want to choose, and I choose competitor A. Now competitor A completely fails. All the performance evaluations for the next 5 years are horrible. And then the job says, you just suck horribly. And you've pissed me off. And you made me look bad. You made me look bad because I picked your sorry ass. So not only am I kicking you out of the country, not only am I kicking you out of your job, out of this company, but I'm going to tell all the other companies around here never to hire you again. And you will walk around in employment exile until retirement. You will never be hired again. No company will ever take you serious. You will always have to panhandle because you've pissed me off so bad, because you've made me look bad. Now, how do you think the other, and on top of it, I'm going to seal off the position because you failed so bad, I don't even want anybody else possibly failing worse than you. Everybody else, all the other competitors at the job are like, I hate this person. He destroyed our opportunity. Then they see this person in the street. Oh, can you please put a quarter in my cup? Hey, you're capable. The boss chose you before they chose me. Figure out how to get that quarter in your own cup. And then they kick you in the back and then walk off. I don't know. I think some parallels could be made. So my question is, if this is the case, how should a group of people who, quote unquote, allegedly, quote unquote, messed it up for humanity with the quote unquote big guy, how should those people be treated, quote unquote, not only by the big guy, quote unquote, but by other human groups of people? That's my question. What do you guys think? Okay. Let's get back to talking about migrants, right?
Again, people look at it and say, do we really need this? Why do we need to put this much money and emphasis on deporting people who've entered illegally?
Well, let's compare it to the last administration. Okay, they were putting illegal.
Shout out to AB. AB says with disdain. AB says with disdain. I know some people who get treated with disdain today.
Aliens in hotel rooms in New York City for like $500 a night, and that's a fact. $500 per alien per night for a hotel room. Then they had to pay for food, three meals a day. They had to pay for medical care. They had to pay for attorney access. All these other things were added to that $500 a night. So who knows what the cost was really? I don't have that number.
Yeah, you can go down a rabbit hole. Some people say, look, we've put a person on the moon. We've made aircrafts. Why were we not chosen? How would you feel? If, that is, of course, if, this stuff is true, right? That's the thing, right? We don't know if any of this stuff is true or not. But I do see some parallels, interesting ones. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said the moon landing is debatable. What about the automobile? Is that? Hey, shout out to Carlton. Carlton said the moon landing is debatable. Hey, what about an automobile? What about an airplane? Are those? Damn, homie. In Bible days, you was the man, homie. Present day, what the happened to you?
I can tell you the beds here are just under 300 is what I was briefed on, and that includes 3 meals a day, full medical, doctors and nurses on site. So you got your food, you got medical, and what's great about this facility, Chris, is there's an airstrip right there, so we can also have additional efficiencies on transportation because we have air transport in Arizona, we got in Texas, we got in Louisiana. Having an airstrip in Florida, we can have all the East Coast states staging in Florida instead of having sending someone to Louisiana, sending someone to Arizona for a removal of Central America or to Asia. Now we have an airstrip right there in Florida, which is not only benefits that facility, because we're going to have immigration hearings also at that facility in Florida, which means when they get ordered deported and we get a plane load, we can simply load a plane right there and take them to their home country. So it's a cost savings on the beds compared to last administration. It's extreme cost savings on transportation because you got an airstrip right there that can serve the entire East Coast.
The October to May numbers, you say, look, we're targeting the guys and the women, I guess, also.
None of this means anything to anybody. And it's annoying how it's annoying how people act fake concerned with this stuff. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, now there was a brother around the time of the Wright brothers that had a flying machine. I need to find his name. Did he have a big head? What's the dude with the big head's name? Oh man, Yakub. Was his name Yakub? Oh man.
Who are a threat to society. It's 3 out of 4 are traffic, immigration, or other low level offenses. Only 1 out of the 4 are serious felons in terms of like murder, rape, high value crimes.
Again, I want to ask you guys this question. Is it a serious felony to enter the country illegally? I mean, I don't understand. Why do we have to ask these questions so much? Why do we have to ask these questions so much? We have to ask these questions so much because this is just ridiculous. We literally just forget the fact that they entered the country illegally, and that's a super serious crime. If I enter a building illegally, I can get in trouble and go to jail for a long time, and nobody's going to sit there and say, well, he's not a violent felon. Like, somebody make it make sense. Like, somebody make this make sense.
Is that the right ratio?
No, I don't think it is at all. I mean, the vast majority of people arresting have criminal conviction, public safety threats. But, and people look at, for instance, we arrest some people in county jails in non-sanctuary states. and they have a pending criminal case. So we found them in the county jail, which most likely means they're not a choir boy. So they're pending criminal charges. The left don't want to count that. They're saying, well, they're not criminals, they're not convicted yet. Yeah, however, they've been arrested for criminal charges sitting in the county jail. We're not going to sit and wait for conviction because a lot of prosecutors will say, look, if you're going to deport.
Real quick, shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button yet, make sure you guys take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment and hit that bell. And also, please share the stream to your social media. And shout out to the people that watched it, that watch the content, man. This is what makes survivors. People who become being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I'm not talking about sitting there being a generational loser and then saying that you're going through something and that makes you just long-term overage of being a loser somehow makes you resilient. It only makes you resilient to winning. So that's a narrative that needs to get destroyed, right? Being uncomfortably comfortable means that you're adoptable. It doesn't mean that you partake in loser absorption. I'll just absorb all the losses because I'm just sitting here not doing anything. So shout out to y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said $450 million is a big budget and the taxpayers have to pay for it. It's cheaper to put the migrants in quote unquote regular prison. Yeah, there's a lot of people that had a big problem with this with this big busty bill, right? So, you know what I'm saying? That's probably one of the critiques that people are going to have is that is messing up the church's money. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Tedra. Tedra said, I keep saying that. Why are they acting like these people aren't criminals? They entered the country illegally. Yeah, every single time this is discussed, it's always discussed in a situation of, well, they didn't do anything after that. Listen, if somebody deletes somebody, if they partake in murder, no one ever says, well, after that murder, they didn't do anything else wrong. No one says that. Well, I mean, they haven't done anything since they murdered the person. The fact that they murdered the person is a huge issue. The fact that these people come into the country illegally and just think that they can is a huge issue. I mean, my question is, why are we acting like this is not an issue? Well, we're not acting like that. We're not acting like that, right?
Them, and we just drop the case and deport them and save the taxpayer a lot of money. However, if the prosecutor wants to prosecute them, we work with the prosecutor, do a writ saying we'll put them back in your custody for prosecution if you guarantee after you're done you release them to us. So we're working that way. So we're doing the best we can for local prosecution, having the first shot at it. But if they don't want that shot, then we're going to remove them. We're not going to release them in the community to reoffend. But we are concentrating on public safety threats. I want to be clear, and you and I have talked about this before. Prioritization of public safety threats, national security threats, doesn't mean everybody else is off the table. Especially in sanctuary cities where we're forced into the neighborhood to find a guy they released from a county jail. When we go looking for that guy, many times we find others who aren't.
How many people have heard about the efforts that are being made to quote unquote demask ICE agents? To demask the ICE agents. And what that basically means is we're going to put in legislation that makes it illegal for you to wear your mask. They're talking about these ICE agents. You ain't wearing no mask no more. You definitely ain't allowed to wear a mask anymore. How many people think that ICE should be demasked? If you guys think that ICE should be demasked, give me a thumbs up. If you guys do not think that ICE should be demasked and that they should be allowed to wear their masks, then give me a thumbs down. And I wouldn't disagree. Carlton says it's a threat to national security. Some of these people are coming over here without their measles shots, without all kinds of shots. I'm saying without all kinds of shots. You remember? Shout out to Brandon Johnson, right? Shout out to Eraserhead. He actually substantiated. Remember, he said, "Hey, coming over here sick." Remember when he said that? And he said it exactly like that. I don't know what you want me to do, but hey, coming over here sick. Remember when he said that? Damn it. Stop asking me all these damn questions. He had the pinky moment. Made sure that everybody knew that they were coming over here sick. Well, we don't. That's one of the things that you said that we believe. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to James Sumler. James said Charles Frederick Page invented the aircraft, was prevented from entering the World's Fair, then which the Wright brothers was credited with inventing the first aircraft. That is not surprising. And again, this is one of, and again, let me ask you this, right? Shout out to Charles Frederick Page for being an innovator and for being an inventor. Why haven't any companies taken up his legacy and named the country after either him or his initial invention and moved forward on his dream of air travel? Why hasn't that been done? What do you got again? What do you guys think about that? He was a creator and his peers are a spectator, and because nobody took up his legacy, he wasn't allowed to be made great. So now his name is not brought up very often in the conversation in regards to travel innovation. Not making people great is the ultimate betrayal. It's more of a betrayal than anything that any quote unquote pro-blacks babble about. Any Umar Johnson politics, any bullshit. Not making people great is the biggest existential threat towards any group of people. People always say, well, he doesn't get any credit. One of the reasons why he didn't get any credit is because his people didn't make him great. We need to have a tribunal. Shout out to Windows Rug. Windows Rug said worse than snow bunny hopping. Sorry, Lith folks. All right. And again, you know, the whole snow bunny hopping thing, that's a thing that Umar Johnson got from where he got all of his talking points, white supremacist talking points, right? And like, it's a whole rabbit hole with that. Is where you get this terminology of race simping, and how it all. Listen, there's that should be a Rumble stream. That's gonna have to be. Shout out to Help Me. What's good with it, bro? That's a Rumble stream. Shout out to Windows Rug. Windows Rug said facts. He said brothers who date white women should be locked up. Well, they felt the same way in the 1960s. So again, you see the convergence of pro-blackness and its white supremacist genesis. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, again, I mean, I substantiate these talking points all the time with facts and evidence, and people, you know, they're stuck in their ways. No, that can't be true. I mean, after you've seen somebody say something or you've seen where this has come from, it still can't be true because you don't want it to be true. That's not how shit works. Shout out to James Sumler. James Sumler said Charles Richard Patterson was the first black man with his father, Frederick Douglass Patterson, to build an established car company in 1911. And again, like, that's awesome. Like, that's amazing. And there should be more like education about that. But we have to ask why his people betrayed him and did not enlarge and enhance the legacy that he built. know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, fresh out of slavery, black people were cranking out inventions like it was nothing. Well, that's what Ron DeSantis said too, right? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, fresh out of slavery, black people were cranking out inventions like it was others. Ron DeSantis said they got a good education and shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know, you throw something around like that, somebody's gonna man, listen, man, I swear, the type of problems that I could cause, you have no idea. You have no idea how fortunate and I don't get the appreciation I should get. You have no idea how fortunate you are that I choose to be down, man, that I choose to be on the team. Like, man, y'all have no idea the type of problems I could cause if I decided to, you know what I'm saying, go after quote unquote funding sources. Maybe y'all should see. Maybe y'all should see the potential destructive forces that could happen. You know what I'm saying? Maybe y'all should see that. But I think that even if people saw it, they still would be blind to the fact. They still wouldn't care. It still wouldn't matter. People still think that, you know, you simply just call somebody. Let me ask you guys this question. White people say the N-word, right? And they get rich off of it. Black people call black people coons and sambos, and those people get rich. While the entire time, the same people who are broke stay broke. Does anybody not notice that? You guys don't notice that? Now, again, who controls the money flow? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said black people right after slavery actually had legitimate excuses, but in 2025, our situation is different. I want to ask what their excuse was for being so innovative and being able to make so many inventions fresh out of the plantation. I want to know what the excuse was for. That's the only excuse that I'm interested in. I'm not interested in any other excuses except for that one. That's the most important one for me. What's your excuse for once the moment you walked out of those plantation doors, you immediately were inventing everything? I want to know what the excuse is for that. I'm not interested in any other excuses. Carlton, hey, Carlton in the comment section dying laughing. He like, man, Rob crazy, man. Because I know Carlton know exactly where I'm going with that. You know what I'm saying? Carlton know exactly where I'm going, man. I'm telling you, I will lay a blaze trail right through the middle of the forest, man. I don't care. Listen to me. I don't care how much you like these other clowns on YouTube. You better pray to whoever you believe in and thank that person every fucking day that I don't wake up one day and decide to start experimenting with shit. Because, you know, what would stop me, right? I'm not being financially constrained by large amounts of income.
Aren't a criminal target, but are in the country legally. We're going to arrest them and enforce the immigration law. That's what the law requires.
No, look, I get it, Tom. I'm not fighting you on that point. I'm saying if it's 3 out of 4 are traffic and low-level offenses, then you start to get close.
It's not 3 out of 4.
To what?
Chris, it's not 3 out of 4.
But all right. I'm looking at these numbers, and I asked it to you open-ended. If it's wrong, it's wrong. This is what I'm looking at. You saw the graphic. That's where I'm getting the numbers from. But you know, whatever. My bigger point is, you start to get close to what I think the president is kind of ceding some ground on. You know, he's gone back and forth, but the latest is people who are working on farms, people who are working in hospitality, you're going to leave them alone. because they're so important to those industries and to those communities. Isn't that something that he really should acknowledge, and that not everybody who comes into this country illegally is the same?
When has anybody ever said that everybody who comes into the country illegally is the same? Like, I like, what is Chris Cuomo talking about? When has there ever been a statement that quote unquote everybody who comes into the country illegally is the same? Who's ever made that comment? Can anybody send me clips of that comment being made so that we can react to them and review them? Who made that comment? Now, everybody who came into the country undocumented, they're guilty of the same thing, right? They're guilty of the same thing. But I don't think anybody ever said that they're all the same.
No, I think, he's the one that, first brought up some sort of program for farm work.
Now, shout out to James, right? James says, we as a people invent most of the products we still use today, but our intellectual properties were stolen and patented, and we never got the credit for it. Now, here's the thing, right? If it ain't documented, it didn't happen. That's what they tell you in any type of situation where you're a professional and you have to keep records of things that you've done, right? So who's more innovative? The person that creates or the person that creates effective methods to steal things that are created and then they use those things? See, to me, right, if you ask me, these things were stolen ideas, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, none of that is a talking point. None of that is an excuse. None of that's relevant. If somebody can steal better than you would, I mean, it just like, okay, they got your shit. Why are you getting beat up all the time? You know what I'm saying? Why are people stealing from you all the time? You can't hold your shit down? You know what I'm saying? I got all kind of shit at the house. You know what I'm saying? What if somebody like, I got all kinds of shit in my house. Imagine if every week I lost something and I was like, man, somebody just stole this shit from me. People would think I was a bitch. Somebody just stole all my gold I got. I bought it all, right? Where does that argument hold up? Like, let's just say, for instance, you got like a dope ass car, right? And somebody beat your ass and took the car. Now they driving around in it. Like in hip hop and rap, the people that take people's chains, they get the credit. Oh, look at this. I got Jim Jones's chain. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Jim Jones made them records and bought that chain with his hard work. Don't nobody care, though. The person that gets celebrated is the person that got the Dipset chain. Here's my question. When people, and again, shout out to James. You know you my dude. Ain't no, please don't, you know what I'm saying? No disrespect. But I want people to win. I don't want people to lose, right? When people say something was stolen, what does that do? It doesn't, what does that do? And my thing, if somebody, let's just say, for instance, I stole all kind of shit from somebody and it was like, man, I had this and Rob stole it from me. And if I heard that, I would be like, and if you don't shut the hell up, I'm just going to steal some more shit from you, bitch. Now, go grovel to somebody about that, but make sure I don't hear you, because then I'm going to just steal some more shit from you. So here's my thing. Now what? What does that do? What value does that provide? Why, if people are such innovators and they're so good at inventing things, why haven't they invented a way to not get shit stolen from them? Because when you are an innovator and when you're an inventor, you're supposed to solve problems that are currently being faced by you. And if a problem that's currently being faced by you is that you're constantly getting your shit stolen, right? Then a security mechanism on getting your shit stolen, it probably is a priority invention, but that hasn't been made though. So if that's the case, and your technology is not advanced enough to protect you from existential threats, your technology is worthless to you. And you see this all the time. Your technology is worthless to you, but it can be priceless to other people. You know what I'm saying? You see, like in a lot of these countries where a bunch of poor people are, the minerals and natural resources that they're sitting on are worthless to these people because they can't do any. They either refuse to or they can't do anything with them. But where people don't have these natural resources and they have the means to process these natural resources, these things are valuable. They're worth infinite, equity. You know what I'm saying? You can rap. You're a blithering idiot, but you can rap. Yeah, and again, shout out to Intuitively Wise. That absolutely shows you the difference between being sincere or being capable. And it substantiates my point. The person that's capable gets the shit done. If you're capable of theft and brutality, then you're capable of getting shit done. So get capable. Stop rubbing yourself and being sincere. You know what I'm saying? Right? Right? Stop rubbing all on yourself and start being capable. Right? I gotta feel this ain't gonna feel all warm and fuzzy. You know what I'm saying? Right? Well, let me let me just give myself a little back massage. Not like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, time to execute. And shout out to Intuitively Wise. And that, my friend, is why I would choose the capable person all the time. 9 times out of 10, I would choose the capable person. If you don't like, let's just say for instance, you don't like playing basketball. Like, I don't like playing basketball. You know what I'm saying? But you never miss a shot. You're an amazing rebounder. You know what I'm saying? And you just do it because it's a job. I mean, I'm taking the capable person. You could have a passion for basketball, and every time you shoot the ball, it goes over the backboard. You know what I'm saying? Now, I want you guys to pay very close attention. We hurt so many people feel like we destroyed. Listen, we destroyed so many of these pussies. There's only 4 people left in the chat. We cleared these motherfuckers. We cleared these weak ass bitches out of here. And it's sad that clearing these weak ass bitches out of here on a digital level doesn't extend into the real world, because they need to be gotten up off the planet too, right? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said the courts back then were screwing over black people with their IP. Shout out to Black Free Thinker. What's good, bro? Welcome back. And we got to do it. We got to do it to him every single time. We got to do it to him every single time. Every single time, people got to know where that ass whooping came from. They got to know the finger. They got to recognize them knuckle prints. Walk past this person with some knuckle prints all in their face and recognize where that knuckle print came from. Know where that ring came from. That ring mark on that forehead, you know where that motherfucker came from. Oh, he just came from over there. Okay. We're gonna have pattern. We're gonna cause intellectual pattern bruising. People gonna know where they got their asses whooped at. You know what I'm saying?
And those in the hospitality industry. This President Trump came up with that, and I think it makes sense. The details aren't in yet, so it's still under discussion. I don't want to get ahead of the president what the actual plan looks like. But remember, he also came up in the first Trump 45, Chris. He came up with an immigration plan. He wanted a DACA fix, remember? But Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi didn't want it because he asked for border funding. He also came up with immigration.
Shout out to Carlton. Carlton says sometimes people are not ready to have conversations like these. Shout out to Alonda. What's good with it, Alonda? If you ask me, bro, people are never ready to have these kind of conversations. People are never ready for anything. The only thing that people are ready for is people are only ready to accept mediocrity at all times. You know what I'm saying? And people are always ready with an excuse. Those are the only things that people are ever ready for. I'll tell you what I'm ready for. I'm ready for $4,800 XRP. That's what I'm ready for. Fuck these conversations, bro. I'm ready for $4,800 XRP. I'm ready for dollar crow at knife, nigga. That's what I'm ready for. You know what I'm saying? Fuck this shit.
Policy that I was a part of, and I thought it made sense. That immigration would be based on merit. Those who can come and improve this nation through various means and all sorts of labor. However, he still left room for families, moms and dads, sons and daughters. So, you know, a plan's being worked, and hopefully we'll get another plan.
Man, listen, I want y'all to understand, like, listen, this, and I gotta break it down. Like, man, we gotta break it down. It's content creators on YouTube that constantly be like, yo, hit the Cash App, man. Hit the Cash App. Motherfuckers don't even be saying hit the like button. They just skip past go. Nigga, hit the Cash App. I don't never ask anybody to hit the Cash App. You know what I'm saying? I put a goal up, feed the liquidity. It'll be nice. You know what I'm saying? Give your boy a little bit of change and shit like that, right? But all I say is hit the like button, right? All I say is hit the like button. All I say is engage. And it's pulling teeth. Pulling teeth in mouths that look like Tom Homan's. Ain't no teeth in there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, I'm too old to be offended by conversations. Bro, facts. Too old, too wise. If you understand reality, there's no such thing as offense. You can't be offended if you understand reality. You know what I'm saying? So when people become offended and they become offended by objective facts, you could tell that that's the first cardinal sign that they're detached from reality.
And soon, and I think the president's trying to do the right thing, and I support him on this. I mean, I grew up in farm country. I understand the need for dairy workers and so forth. If they can't legal workforce, then it's up to Congress and this administration to come up with options. And so I'm with the president, and we'll see what the policy ends up being. But he came up with this himself, and I'll support it, and we'll see what the final details look like.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app.
All right, so there's that. So now here goes my question for you guys. More undocumented? You guys want more undocumented? Or hold on. Okay, never mind. Okay, never mind. You guys want more undocumented or no? And I gotta agree. Shout out to Tedra, man. Make sure y'all show Tedra some love for not being a sensitive person. Shout out to everybody in the chat for not being sensitive, right? Tedra says, I'm glad I'm not a sensitive person. Some people take everything personally. That's facts, man. That's facts. And then people gotta not take anything personally. Like people always say, oh, this is a distraction. That's a distraction. A lot of distractions are internal. And emotions are one of the biggest distractions. One of the biggest distractions. Emotions will distract you from finding the right relationship partner. Emotions will distract you from, you know, processing information. That's a good point, intuitively wise. That's another, yeah. I mean, that's an absolutely valid point and a valid question. Intuitively wise asks, or does taking an offense mean your standard took a hit? Yeah, possibly. Possibly. Shout out to y'all for making me 5X great. Though 5X in the chat for your boy. Y'all made me 5X great. I appreciate y'all, man. Yeah, we're gonna do undocumented again tomorrow. We're gonna try to run all these videos out. I'm getting behind on my other stuff, but it's all good though. It's all good though. We'll just be running it late. we'll be talking about some $4,800 XRP predictions, and Carlton will come with the new data that shows the $10,000 XRP price predictions, right? Shout out to AB. Make sure y'all show AB some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emojis, some ducks in the chat for AB. I don't have my drops. Remember, guys, I don't know, something is up with StreamYards today. Like you can't use the drops and all that. So I don't know. So I apologize in advance for that. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. You know that AB Promotions and Brooklyn Queen would both get agains if we had the drops, right? But we don't have the drops. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to TD. You know what I'm saying? TD with the eat the cats. You know what I'm saying, but we ain't got no drops, so ain't no cats getting ate today. You know what I'm saying? And as always, ladies and gentlemen,